Well, actually...
Yeah, I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just to by my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would have to just have the strength in my mind.
It's the Travel OG, and welcome to the Black Manosphere Conclave 5.0!
We got started in 2021 in Atlanta, united in the pursuit of excellence in all things. It's been one hell of a ride.
Can I tell you what's on my mind? Cause I've been thinking about it for quite some time. Hey, can you give me a moment to declare my love? Can I tell you what's on my mind?
We're now focusing more on opportunities for men, in particular passport bros. Guys who go abroad, they want to have a different lifestyle, they want to have a different achievement abroad. Oh yeah, there's without a doubt the narrative has changed for us greatly.
I just finished speaking and having a chance to tell individuals about how to live the American dream outside of America. And I was here to help so many men when it comes to understanding what they need to do in order to relocate.
With the political climate, things that are happening worldwide, guess what? Nobody's coming to save us. So it is indicative that we all bound together, tighten up like a fist, and strike a mighty blow against everything that's fighting to stop us, man.
It's nothing but good, positive people, good, positive energy with one goal in mind, and that is to make money, get the hell out the Matrix, and enjoy your life. You dig? So shout out to all of y'all. Theme music!
Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is your man Marcus A. Brown, and I'm here to tell y'all that I just got done with my first consultation with the brother Andre of Love Crossing Borders. I just wanted to give him his praises. I need y'all to do two things if you haven't already. If you haven't, subscribe to his YouTube channel, Love Crossing Borders. Also, if you are going to Colombia, if you're thinking of going anywhere, traveling internationally, please consider booking a consultation with the OG Andre of Love Crossing Borders. You will not be disappointed. And y'all, get in tune with him if you haven't already. Tell him MAB sent you. Peace.
Where are all the black men? And I'm not talking about the scammers, the drug dealers, the robbers, and the crooks.
Well, actually...
All right, all right. Well, all the black guys are here, on black men, that is, and the few women that dare to tread this channel, we are here with Andre and Andre's Love Crossing Borders. $4 billion. I know some people like to complain about how they got the $4 billion, but $4 billion. That's how much MEDELLIN Colombia alone has made between 2023 to 2026. 3 years in nothing but tourism. Nightclubs, restaurants, stores, Airbnbs, and other tourist attractions have opened up the floodgates to where Medellin, Colombia is considered one of the places to retire, one of the places to have fun, one of the places to explore as a tourist or an expat. $4 billion. And yet there are still some locals that have a problem with that. They don't like the gentrification. They don't like change. They just don't, we as people in general don't like to adjust our lives even if it's something positive happening for us, like $4 billion. We're going to hear a debate tonight between one of the Passport sisters, shout out to her, Maria Sincere. She just moved to Colombia over the last year. She's growing on social media. She's been to a few countries in South America. And she has a debate with a local Colombiana who does tour guides for foreigners. And she speaks with the same veracity and tone that a lot of the locals in Medellin have when it comes to tourists, when it comes to the sexpats, when it comes to pookies, ray-rays, nook-nooks, and paw-paws, and when it comes to gentrification. We're going to hear about it all tonight. You know, I'm going to have some stats and some facts, such as the stat of $4 billion with a B, capital B, that the city of Medellin has made in tourism alone. Well, what about Colombia? How much has Colombia made since the pandemic? Well, the estimates say that Colombia has made over $8.7 billion since the end of the pandemic. Good money if it's only coming from one source, tourism. Now, of course, we all know Colombia gets its money through the sale of petroleum oil, coffee, flour, and other exports. But one of the top areas in which they make money now is tourism. So no matter how much the locals complain, and you're going to hear a lot of complaining tonight, doesn't matter. The Colombian government, as well as investors, are seeing the big picture that the locals, especially in Medellin, might not be seeing quite yet. Well, before we do, let's get ready with some shout out. Shout out to all you guys that are here with Andre and Andre's Love Crossing Borders. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm having a pretty good day myself. So if you're having a great day, I'm having a great day as well. Appreciate you guys being here. Let me scroll up. Give a shout out to my brother Will, who sent me a $5 blessing on the PayPal. Shout out to all you guys that support the channel, as well as he's showing love over on the Super Chat. And Will says this right out the gate. He says, good evening, Andre, and chat family. Please smash the like button, gentlemen. Make sure you smash that like button, and support by way of PayPal, like Will has done, Cash App, like T-Mac and all you other guys quite often do, as well as the Super Chat. Chicas against the Passport sisters? Get your popcorn ready. This is a pretty good debate. This was a really, really good debate. I have to say this. It's not often I like to sit back and just hear women going back and forth, but both sides gave good reasons for why they say what they said. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I know some of you guys have already seen this video, which was dropped last night by Maria Sincere. And once again, make sure you guys subscribe to her YouTube channel, Instagram, as well as other platforms that she's on. Passport sisters don't have home field advantage. Chicas do. This is true. This is true. Definitely. I understand exactly where you're coming from. Let me scroll back up just to show a little bit love. Scroll down. Thank you very much. Also, we'll be in numero uno today, number 1. Appreciate you, brother. Really do. My man David Dice is number 2 in the building. David Dice of the Dice family. He said, we have another live. We're doing something right. Yes, sir. We must be doing something right. Yes, sir. Salute to you as well, Dave. Salute to you as well. Shout out to you. Shout out to my brother Ahmad Milner, Mr. Milner in the building. Glad to see that you're here with us as well. Let's scroll down a little bit further because we got my man Don JP in the building. Glad to see that you're here as well, brother. Good evening, Andre and Andre, chat family. hit that like button. Yes, sir. We like you. Make sure that you like us too. And shout out to my man Fritz being in the building. Yes, sir. George is representing. I would love to see George's or hear what George has to say about this particular topic as the women debate on this particular live stream. We're going to be doing a reaction to. And he says this. He said, "What up?" He said, "Gonna have to catch the replay." Shout out to the replay crew. He said, "Gonna be a good one. Makeup and camera angle does does wonder." Talking about Maria. Yes, sir. Shout out, brother. Shout out. Mr. Cali himself. Shout out to my brother. He says, shout out to Jay Smooth in the building. He says, this salute, family. Salute to you as well, Jay. Salute to you as well. And we got our brothers over there in Southeast Asia. Good morning, Mr. Ronin Travelers. Shout out to you. Make sure that you drop your YouTube channel so guys can support. This is a man supporting men channel. Shout out to all you guys that are in the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, that whole region. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Good morning. Yes, sir. Salute to you as well, sir. Salute to you as well. Let's scroll down a little further, and we got my boy Charles B in the building. Shout out to Charles being here. Appreciate you, Charles. Salute to you as well from Mexico. Shout out to you, brother. And we got the Anderson Show. Shout out to Anderson Show being in the building. Appreciate you being here, brother. If you have a YouTube channel, Mr. Anderson, please drop the link so we can support your content. He said, cover that earlier. This space is wild. Yes, sir, bruh. It's wild. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the content. And like I said, Andrew, make sure that you drop the link to your channel so we can support you as well with subscribing. We got 33 in the building. Appreciate every one of you gentlemen that are here. I guess we got through that kind of fast. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get started with the stream. Let's change the music up already right now. I think that's the fastest intro we've done in a long time. Only 12 minutes in. I'll take that. I will take that. Let's change the music up right about now. All right. Like I was saying, you hear people here in Colombia, in parts of the city, not most people, but a few people talk about, hey, gentrification is taking place. They're taking over the areas. These tourists, these foreigners, these gringos, gringas, they're taking over. The prices are going up as if there's no such thing as inflation around the world, but it's our fault. But we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to hear what two women have to say. One is a passport sister. One is a Colombiana local in Medellin, Paisa, if you will. Fluent in English. She does tours. She makes money off of tourism, but yet she's anti-tourism. So we're going to hear what she has to say about what's going on down here. And we're going to talk about a few things that have to do with gentrification. What is it? Is it a plus? Is it a minus? What are some of the benefits when gentrification takes place? Some of us already know about gentrification. For those who remember what happened after Katrina, everybody ran to Dallas or to Houston. After the pandemic, when prices started going up in California, everybody started running to Austin, Texas. Also, after the pandemic, what did the New Yorkers start to do as prices increased with inflation in the New York and New Jersey area? They came on down to Florida. We got tons of New Yorkers that are living in Florida now. Gentrification takes place. Harlem has changed. Gentrification is a part of societies, cultures. It shifts. It will always shift. It will always be changes taking place. We've gone from the horse to the horse and buggy to the vehicle. We've gone from trains to planes. Transformation in societies will always be a part of the societal makeup of countries. Nothing will stay the same. And I think that's one of the things that we as locals in the United States, Canada, UK, out in Asia, Europe, as well as 54 countries of Africa, as well as the 12 countries of South America, have to come to a conclusion. Change will always take place if nothing else takes place at all. If nothing else ever takes place again, change will. So let's continue on with the video. And shout out to all you guys. Shout out to my brother Slick is in the building. Glad to see you here with the $3 love. Appreciate you. Shout out to Mr. Elliott himself. I mean, Mr. The Travel Elitist himself. Appreciate you being here. Salute to you as well, kind sir. Salute to you as well. And my brother DJ. DJ said, I saw this last night. I know a few of you guys saw it. It was really good. Saw this last night. It was like a scenario, right? Right. He said, did I say scenario? It is a yeah, so I got it right. Sounds like you want us to give you money and leave, and that's all. That's what it sounded like. That's what it sounds like. Sonora? I think I pronounced that Sonora correctly. He said I was late. He said I want like wait Sonora. I was like wait Sonora. Oh, okay, Senora. okay, Senora. Okay, I got you now. I was like Sonora. Shout out to T-Mac being in the building as well. Appreciate you guys being here. Scroll up a little bit. Shout out to my other brother being in the building, Mr. Scholar himself. He said, yo, let's go. We're about to get started right about now. I'm not even going to say anything to hold anything up. I was just talking about, I'll be stopping every once in a while to talk about what has happened when it comes to certain topics that these ladies are going to be talking about. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut tonight and let it roll. Let's get started right about now.
And you explicitly said Medellin doesn't need tourism. Medellin was fine before tourism.
I'm going to translate that. I know I said I was going to shut up. Y'all know me. Let me translate that. Medellin was fine before it made that $4 billion off of tourism. That doesn't sound right, does it? I'm going to say this again. According to the locals, Medellin was fine before tourism. Translation, on the economic scale, Medellin has made $4 billion over the last 3 to 4 years. They didn't need that $4 billion. Name a city in the world that doesn't need $4 billion. Spelled with an alien. I'm going to start this back over. She's in the middle of the discussion with the young lady. Once again, this young lady here is Maria Sincere, just moving to Colombia over the last year. And she's having late last night, she had a conversation, debate, if you will, with a Colombian local who's been on tour telling the locals and telling foreigners we don't need tourism after we've given them $4 billion. After we've given them $4 billion, now we don't need you. Now, after we've helped Airbnb, businesses, nightclubs, and so forth, now we don't need you. Yeah, let's have some fun with this one.
And you explicitly said Medellin doesn't need tourism. Medellin was fine before tourism. So I'm inviting you up here to explain that, because you didn't just say sex tourism. You talk about that later on. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
How are you today?
Good, very good.
Okay, so I'm giving you an opportunity because you have the
You are
expat.
giving me an opportunity to me.
Yes, so that's a polite thing to say in English. So people are talking about you, how you saying you don't like American tourism. You thought Colombia
Who?
was
The
a better.
weirdos that Chill Capo has sent me? The fake profiles, those?
No, no,
Listen,
that's
okay,
that's
I'm going to
no,
say,
hold on. Let me
I think,
explain to you first what I'm talking about so that you can respond fully understanding what I'm talking about.
okay.
So I saw a video that you made today, and you said this explicitly, word for word. Colombia doesn't need tourism. Colombia was
Is it
better.
true?
Colombia was better before tourism. So
Yes,
my question
facts.
to you is, why are you selling tours and you don't like tourist here?
It doesn't mean that I don't like tourists. I'm just saying facts. The Colombians, the locals are so done with the tourists because they are raising the prices for us.
That wasn't the question. The question in the statement was Colombia better before tourism? She started talking about the prices. Let's talk about the prices. What causes inflation in a country? Let's talk about it real quick. I'm going to let these ladies finish off. 5 reasons why inflation is taking place in Colombia since I've been here since 2016. Global price changes in general because of the pandemic and beyond. Oil and other imports have become more expensive in Colombia. Tourists have nothing to do with import costs. I'll say that again. Tourists have nothing to do with the import of products and the increase of tariffs and other things that happen in Colombia. Like I said, 5 reasons why prices have increased in Colombia, at least since I've been here. Number 2, the exchange rate fluctuation. Sometimes the currency of the Colombian dollar has value. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the US dollar is stronger. Like we've seen the US dollar get all the way up during the pandemic to 5,000 to 1, 5 to 1 in other words, 5,000 pesos to 1 USD. Now it's dropped all the way down to today, man, Andrew's looking this at 3,600 pesos to $1. The reason why things get expensive in Colombia is because the dollar fluctuation. That has nothing to do with tourists. Number 3, the expansion of monetary policies can push up prices. In other words, governments and investors, they impact the prices, whether it be the Colombian corporations that are already here or the Colombian government itself or external governments and corporations. For all of our countries, it impacts all of our countries this exact same way. When tariffs take place in the United States, when wars take place over oil in the United States, for example, my brother T-Mac was showing me a gas station near to where he lives in California, $7 gas per gallon. That's not any, has nothing to do with the tourism that takes place in California. That is government and corporate entities that cause that. Number 4, supply chains. The reason why Colombia increased its prices because after the pandemic, supply chains have always been off, whether it be the oil being locked up in the Middle East, whether it be China taking so long to send products to our countries after the pandemic. Remember the supply chains just locked up? It took so, I didn't know this until a couple weeks ago. Did you know the average oil tanker, just an oil tanker, moves at the speed of an Olympic bicyclist? If you had an oil tanker racing, close enough to, if you can see it racing next to an Olympic bicyclist, that bicyclist can keep up with the oil tanker. They do not move fast. Sometimes it takes up to 14 days for an oil tanker to go from the Middle East all the way to the Western Hemisphere. 14 days. So when we sit back and say that the supply chain distribution impacts what happens in the US, it also impacts Colombia. That has nothing to do with tourism. Lastly, rising product or production or service costs. Prices increase, they just going to increase because the cost to provide a service or to provide a product increase for the distributor. Therefore, prices in Colombia would have went up without tourism at all. Inflation would have hit Colombia, in other words, just like it hit the United States without tourism. They're just stating it as if the locals don't, the locals don't know. Why? Because we don't know in the United States. We don't know. Canadians don't be knowing all the details until you start reading as a Canadian and reading as a US citizen and reading as a Mexican and keeping up on these things as a Colombian. But if you don't, the first person you're going to look at is everything is increasing because of the locals. I'm letting you know now, statistically, that's not true. Tourists are not increasing the prices of products. Now, does gentrification have an impact? Yes, we're going to get to that in a little while. But I want to lay a foundation to let you guys know that there are 5 major things that take place in a country that causes inflation, and tourism is not on the list. Tourism is not in the top 5 reasons why Colombia prices have increased for me as well as locals. David says this. He said, I'm with the people of Medellin. Just because you bring in money doesn't replace peace of mind and respect. I agree with that, but that's not what they're talking about. I agree with that 1000%, Dave. The craziness that's taking place in Medellin does not replace the peace, but that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about expenses. She literally just said, because of you tourists, because of we tourists, that Colombia has become more expensive. What's up, brother? I'm actually I'm actually in the middle of a show right now.
Okay, my bad. I thought you was free. I mean, yeah. Let me know whatever you want to do. I just did a stream yesterday with another.
I saw you.
Yeah.
What?
I don't have a problem jumping on and answering live questions or on the spot, like because my story and the details of everything need to be heard because it affects all Black people trying to come into Medellin.
What's your schedule like for tomorrow night? I got a show tomorrow night. What's your schedule tomorrow night right around this time right now?
I'm available.
Okay, I'm going to send you the link and everything that you need after the show tonight, and we're going to get together in regards. So we'll do the show tomorrow night.
All right, no worries. Just shoot me the links and whatever info or anything you need on my end, and let's do it.
All right, man.
I saw your post, and I watch everything, like, because obviously I'm looking at what's being said about me,
right?
And who knows better than me about what happened in the situation, the cover-ups, the footage that I have, the government, ripping my phone out of my hand, filming them what they were doing to me, and You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot deeper. And then you were the only person that pointed out about, you know, the Sam McVeigh guy, the other white guy that was you.
Yeah.
The only single person that caught that and actually, you know, did the research and brought it up. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to talk to somebody, I need to talk to him, because he's the only one out there doing the legit homework and asking the real question, that why is the white boy being hidden? And he was the actual criminal and pedophile in this situation.
Absolutely.
And I was just the person that had a visa issue, which they don't deport you for visa issues. They just take the money from you and let you stay
you know what?
couple of weeks
That's
longer.
a good point. That's a good point.
Care. They don't have enough airplanes to deport everybody who overstayed a visa.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's not what they care about. That's not the big deal. Oh, give us $800, you can stay another 30 days. No
True.
problem. Cool, take the money. It wasn't about the money. It was because I was embarrassing the mayor because he couldn't catch the people that killed the American Airlines flight attendant, and his opponent is whooping him, you know, and making him look bad. Like, he ain't doing nothing. He ain't cleaning up nothing. He has no law, no order. No, you know, the other guy's like a hardcore, you know, social nationalist, you know, Colombia guy. So he making Fico look bad. So Fico's like, fuck, I got to get some wins.
Right.
Who's the biggest person that we can deport or get rid of that has a little bit of name that goes viral? And they picked me. They don't show my face, you know. But we'll get into that tomorrow. But
okay,
you caught a lot of that, and that's why I got respect for you, and that's why I reached out, because you're the only person on the entire internet that caught what your eyes saw and actually questioned it and why. The question was why.
Yeah.
Everybody knows why.
Yeah. Yeah.
The why is easy.
Yeah. That story over, man, I was running back and I was telling the guys on the live stream, like I said, we're live right now. I was telling them I was running back and forth to my wife every time I discovered something crazier about the white dude as I was going down that rabbit hole. I could not believe the stuff that this dude had done. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow as well. So for those that hadn't saw it.
I'm going to text you some videos and some stuff that you can see, that, you know, just so you can sneak preview and kind of like, okay. You know, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. But at least I'm gonna give you a little bit of you know.
Okay, cool.
So you can look into like, oh, okay. But I appreciate the call. Appreciate you reaching back out, and just text me and let me know I'm ready when you are.
All right, brother. I'll make sure I get all that over to you. All right. Talk to you later. Yes, sir. All right. Looks like we've got an exclusive interview tomorrow evening with Chill Choppa. Shout out to that brother. So we're going to hear what he has to say in regards to his being deported from Colombia. And like he said, from all you guys that heard, he stated that we were the only ones that actually did a video on the white dude. You know, I haven't seen any. I think I saw like one other person, Maria, the young lady on the video, was the only person that actually talked about the white dude, period, like real short. But we were the only ones on this channel that actually did a thorough, in-depth research on, you know, how he was back in the States and he had lost his job and he was a Spanish teacher and he was, you know, you guys saw it the other day. And so, like the brother just said, he said, you were the only person that didn't come at me, but actually want to know what was going on with the other guy as well. So we're going to be doing an exclusive interview with him tomorrow. So guys, have your popcorn out and have your questions ready, because I know you guys are going to have some questions like I do as well. So shout out to you guys. Yep. Shout out to you. Decent brother too. Really decent brother. So let's get back to like I was just saying in regards to he said he left a message on his IG. He wasn't the guy they portrayed. Yeah, he doesn't come across like that at all. I saw the interview that he did last night. Very respectful young man. So I you know, but I'm not the Colombian government, bro. So I wouldn't know the scenario. So I'm not trying to go yay or nay, but I do want to give the brother a chance to speak his point of view. He said Andre is our hardest working man on these YouTube streets. I'm trying, brother. I am trying. So let's get back. to what David was saying. David was saying this. David says, he said, I want the people of Medellin. I am too. I kid you not. I am too. Because I have to admit, it is a completely different Medellin from when I went. I won't even lie. It is different. And when it comes to peace, it is no peace. But, bruh, I'm going to tell y'all something about Medellin. And T-Mac and all you guys can kind of attest to this. Medellin was not known for some of the things that it's known for now. Man, dude, when I came to Medellin, man, nobody was getting drugged like that. Wasn't nobody getting robbed like that. Was it happening? Yeah, but on this level, nowhere near. You didn't have it. Guys, you got foreigners in Medellin jumping out the window. I don't know what y'all smoking. Every time you turn around, it's a foreigner jumping out of somebody's window. You didn't have that when I was there. Parque Yeris was a nice spot. Did you have a few ladies of the night there? A few, but it wasn't that many, bruh. It was a lot of couples there. It was different. Pre-pandemic, I can't lie. Medellin was a lot different. Did I feel like I was in danger when I went down there by myself? No. No, I didn't. Now, did I feel the street or underground energy? Yeah. Did I feel the gang related energy? Yeah. In Parque Yeris area? Yeah. But did I feel threatened or worried? No, not at all. Did I feel like somebody was going to pickpocket? No. Were there criminals around? Yep. Now? Nah, bro. It's different. And it's not even peaceful for us tourists. I'm going to say this again, just piggybacking off of David. It's not even peaceful for us tourists to be in certain areas of Medellin. So I can imagine being a local now. I could imagine being a local when it was halfway peaceful. And then all of a sudden these tourists come and that peace disappears. I can understand that. He said quality, simplistic living, gotta be honest. The rambunctious behavior has gone up. I agree 1000%. It is different, bro. And anybody that's been here in Colombia over 6 years, you know it is. You know, I'm not acting funny style with it, but yeah. He said the locals have been getting drugged and robbed for years. Absolutely correct. I can concur with that. The locals have been going through this for years, but not us tourists. Not us. It wasn't the norm among us tourists in Medellin. Now the locals, it wasn't like they created. Now I put it like this, agreeing with T-Mac. It wasn't like they created scopolamine for us. Okay, they didn't wait until tourists came and relocators came and say, "Hey, let's create this scopolamine." No, it was already here. They were already scoping each other. So I agree with T-Mac in regards to that. Medellin is Western, aka tourist tarnished. It is. That's what I call it, tourist tarnished. That's why I didn't want to be there. It wasn't the locals that caused me not to want to be in Medellin anymore. I lived in Orlando and Tampa. Dude, we're talking about almost 2 million. Did you know Orlando gets 22 million tourists a year? I didn't say 2. To see that mouse, now it may have changed because of the economy and inflation and everything. But when I was there, 2010s, 2007s, 2007, 2008, 2012, bruh, Orlando was packed. And then don't let the people who own houses in Florida come down for the winter, the old people. Now you got the snowbirds coming down. Bruh, I was so burned out on tourists. So when I came to Colombia and I noticed what was happening in Medellin, I'm out. I love the country, but I am not going to be stuck in Medellin. I recognized it, and I knew it would be tourist tarnished. I knew it. I said, I'm not about to spend the rest of my life around a bunch of tourists. I did this already for years in Florida. I'm not about to do another 14 years like I did 14 years in Florida around tourists everywhere. And we do impact the prices, and we do impact gentrification. But do we cause inflation? No. Florida had its inflation because it was going to happen. Supply and demand. Tourists had nothing to do with that. Kobe says this. He said, I've been talking to Chapo the last few weeks before all this happened. Seems like a cool dude. Yeah, seems like a cool brother. The longest nail always gets hammered first. That is true. That is true. Andrew said, he said, I lived in Orlando from 05 to 09. He said, I get it. He said, the Florida Panhandle, the same way for you guys. Shout out to I-10, them I-10 men and ladies. Shout out to I-10. Yep, the same way in scales, just a scale smaller. Just everywhere, man. When you get to the point like, man, when I move somewhere, I do not want to be around a bunch of tourists. Because you just get burned out on it. But let's continue with the video. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I keep saying that, but let's bring it back since some of you guys are here. We just started.
And you explicitly said Medellin doesn't need tourism. Medellin was fine before tourism. So I'm inviting you up here to explain that, because you didn't just say sex tourism. You talk about that later on. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
How are you today?
Good. Very good.
Okay, so I'm giving you an opportunity because you have the.
You are giving me an opportunity to me.
Yes, so that's a polite thing to say in English. So people are talking about you, how you saying you don't like American tourism. You thought Colombia was
the weirdos that Chill Capo has sent me, the fake profiles, those.
No,
okay. I'm going to say.
No, hold on. Let me explain to you first what I'm talking about, so that you can respond fully understanding what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I saw a video that you made today, and you said this explicitly, word for word. Colombia doesn't need tourism. Colombia was
Is
better.
it true?
Colombia was better before tourism. So
yes,
my
facts.
question to you is, why are you selling tours and you don't like tourist here?
It doesn't mean that I don't.
That was my fault, fellas. I put that on me. I put that one on me. That was my fault, fellas. Let me bring the video back.
Medellin doesn't need tourism. Medellin for tourism. So
yes,
my
facts.
question to you is, why are you selling tours and you don't like tourist here?
It doesn't mean that I don't like tourists. I'm just saying facts. The Colombians, the locals, are so done with the tourists because they are raising the prices for us. It's a fact. And Colombia was a lot better without the tourism. The tourism is less than 5 years in Medellin, just so you know, basically after the COVID. So before that, the prices were more according to us. Lleras Park was not a place for prostitution. Actually, Lleras Park was the most exclusive and luxurious place to party in Medellin. Only rich people used to party there. Everything was a lot better. We didn't have this issue about prostitution that we have nowadays. Obviously, there were prostitutes, obviously, as everywhere in the world. but it was not that bad at the point that it's reaching right now. So that is insane. It's getting out of control. That's one of the reasons why Colombian migration is kicking out the sex tourists. So I am not against the tourists. I am not against like the travelers, the ones that are genuinely interested on getting to know the real Medellin, the culture, having fun.
Shout out to our girl in the building. Shout out to our girl in the building, Miss Maria Sincere. I was just thinking, I owe you an apology. I'm going to say it right here. I owe you an apology. When I first started watching your content, and I was actually thinking about this before you popped up, so I'm saying it live on the show. I owe you an apology. I apologize. I have been watching your content a little bit more closely, and you put out some excellent content. Now, much of it has nothing to do with Andre, because as a married man here, has nothing to do with me. But one thing I can say about you, and I'm going to give you your flowers while you're here. I've been following your content, and you do a lot of homework. You have studied your Spanish like you should. You do try your best to connect with all the communities, not just the Afro-Colombian community, but all the communities in Medellin. You try your best not to be biased in what you say. Now, you've had a couple videos, you say, I'm about to be messy, but hey, ain't got nothing to do with me, right? And one thing that I love what you do is that you come from an intelligent perspective. So I have to concur with a lot of that you say. Now, are we in 100% agreement with everything? None of us are. That's just life. But I do have to give you flowers while you're here. I think when you first came on the scene, I'm gonna say this to you, Maria, right out the gate. You have to and I've been trying to catch up with you to get you to realize this. Before you came, most of the passport sisters were coming, following guys around, pretending like they were Afro-Colombian, so the brothers would buy them drinks, doing videos about the guys. Oh, look at the men over here. Look, we're in Cartagena. Oh, they're following the guys to Thailand. So many of us men were like Star Trek. We got our shields up, right? We got our Star Trek shields up. So when you came along, we already had those shields up. Okay, here's another sister. She's following us around. She's good. But then I sat back and I started listening to you, like really listening to you. For example, during this debate, when you were having a discussion about the history of Colombia, I knew these things. I know T-Mac and a few other guys know about the history of Colombia and slavery. And I sat back and I listened, and I said to myself as I was listening, this woman has done her homework. She's not just here, hey, me and my daughter are here having fun. Shout out to you and your daughter. But she's actually doing her homework. This is the same homework that me and T-Mac and everybody else got to do for our citizenship this year, right? And so it made me feel like, I said, okay, this sister is legit. So what I need for you to do, I need for you to send me an email, because we need to converse, because I've been trying to get you on the show and get people to understand where you are coming from. And so I am going to put my email address up here for you. And I would love for you to shoot me an email. I kid you not. I've done interviews. We've been doing this for 7 years. We've interviewed our girl Tours Badi, our girl Paola, the realtor in Medellin. We basically put Maya Afro-Wahida on the map. She didn't have any subscribers when she was coming on our channel in 2019. And so whenever somebody's doing, a woman that's doing positive content is out there, we try to shine the light on you all. And I'm gonna tell you something else that I mentioned to the guys the other day. Maria, there's about to be a void in the YouTube space in many cities in Colombia: Cartagena, Bogota, Medellin. Why? Because the Pookies and the Ray Rays are being purged out of the city. So who's going to be around to give the content? And I made my bold prediction a couple of days ago, and these guys in the comments can tell you, the Passport Sisters are going to come down here and show us how content should have been made in Colombia. Because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing y'all buying Airbnbs, y'all starting businesses down here, y'all making connections down here, and y'all making, y'all, like one sister I just saw, she's Afro-Colombian in Medellin. She's inviting people down for a 5-day Afro-Colombian event that has to do with learning the culture. The brothers ain't putting nothing out there like that. Not yet. So I'm seeing what you ladies, I've been watching you ladies, and I've been seeing what y'all doing. So like I said, I'm giving you your flowers right now. Reach out to me. Send me an email ASAP, because I would love to have you on the show. Have some guys get over some misconceptions and help you build your brand. Because I can see what women are coming down here and what the ladies are going to do. Because as I end, I'm going to end it with this. I believe that many of us men who had social media in South America in our hand began fumbling the bag, because we took what we had as far as the social media presence in Brazil, Colombia, Peru. We took it for granted. And so now the positive male content creators, we're going to always be around. But the Pookies and Ray Rays, they are being purged. And the sad part with certain brothers such as Chill Choppa, they're being ostracized or sent away in the middle of that purging. Some brothers don't deserve to be purged, and it's going to happen. Some people will get caught up in the fray of Colombia kicking other guys out of the country. So shout out to you, sister, once again. Shout out to you. And let's continue on. And you did a great job. Another thing, I was very, very proud of you with this debate right here. I wanted to see where it was going to go. And I spent more time and I say, I've got to do a reaction to this. Yeah, I listened to it earlier today. Keep up the great work, sister. Keep up the great work. Yes, sir. Let's continue on, gentlemen and ladies. Let's continue on. All right, let me move me out of the way. Let me move this banner out of the way. Thank you guys for supporting the channel by way of PayPal, Cash App, and Super Chats. We appreciate you guys. Let's continue on and hear what our sister was saying.
But in a healthy way, you know what I mean? I am against the ones that are coming here for sex tourism.
But do you understand how that comes off? Because the majority of the Americans that come here don't come for sex tourism.
I know. I agree.
Wait, hold on. Let me talk, because I gave you a long time to talk, and I appreciate you explaining that. But do you understand how that comes off when you say, because you're judging Colombia doing better, the standard that you're using, from what it sounds like to me, is all based on prostitution. It's not based on safety. It's not based on statistics from safety. It's not based on It's not based on GDP per capita, because I don't know if you knew this, Valentina, money from tourism surpassed all of Colombia's other exports for GDP. That's including coffee, fruit, anything. Colombia made most of its money off of tourism last year, right? So in many ways, there have been many locals that have benefited from tourism. I'm not talking about sex tourism. I'm just talking about tourism in general. There are many businesses that have flourished from tourism. And a lot of the times, like, people like to blame Americans for raising prices. For example, there's a development over here in Envigado that the investors are Colombian, and they are making this development not for Colombian people, but because they want to attract Airbnb travelers, North American travelers. Now, Americans didn't make this decision. The Colombian businesses decided that they wanted to invest their money and that they didn't want their primary target to be Colombian. That's not American people's fault. So everybody wants to blame Americans for higher prices. But
do you know what gentrification is?
Before we go into the gentrification part, remember what I mentioned earlier, guys, that between 2023 and 2026, Medellin alone has made over $4 billion just from tourists alone. We're not talking about all the other investments that Medellin has made and all the other strives that they've made as far as businesses, products and services. But as far as tourists is concerned, we have brought in over $4 billion. Medellin right now is averaging 2.5 to 3 million tourists every year for the last few years. That's a lot of people coming to see one city in a country that's the size of Texas and California combined. And as we said earlier, what causes inflation? For you guys that weren't here earlier, we're going to talk about what are the things that causes inflation. And we looked at that earlier. First thing, top five reasons for inflation. First reason for inflation that has nothing to do with tourists is that commodity prices change. Oil, any form of petroleum, any form of anything from wood to any type of products, gold, anything. The lithium that goes into our batteries, that increases every year. That had nothing to do with tourism. These are 5 reasons why prices have increased in Colombia. Number 2, the exchange rate fluctuation. We know that the Colombian pesos go up and the price goes down. That has nothing to do with tourism. That's just global currency exchange changes. Number 3, the monetary policies that are put in place by corporations and governments. That has nothing to do with tourists. That is all the government and corporations, just like in the States, just like in Canada, UK, so it is here. We have nothing to do with why the government is doing what they do or corporations do what they do here in Colombia. Number 4, supply chain demands. Supply and demand. After COVID, globally prices increased on everything. Why? Okay, remember in the United States when the prices for used cars went up because there was no steel and other material coming from other countries. Why? Everybody had been locked in. So once we all, okay, here we go. America, in our bank accounts, just in our bank accounts as Americans, once they open up the door to let us out after the pandemic, did you know that Americans had $2.3 trillion in our bank accounts? Because we couldn't go out the club, we could go out to buy this, couldn't buy that. So we just was saving. We working from home and saving, right? Saving. $2.3 trillion. Demand money. Here was the problem. No supplies to make new cars. No supplies coming in to build new houses. So the few cars that were in the States after the pandemic, the prices went up. Why? Because we had a bunch of money, but we didn't have a bunch of cars, didn't have a bunch of houses to buy. Everything was limited supply. The food was limited because everybody in China was indoors, wherever we're buying our products from, Indonesia, Japan, Korea. So we know what it's like to have inflation take place. We had the money, we just didn't have enough products after the pandemic. And even the price of used cars went up as if they were new cars. Same thing here in Colombia. It's no different. Those prices here, I was here. We purchased our SUV during the pandemic. It was brand new, $45,000. I told them, I'll give you 25 cash right now. It's in the middle of the pandemic. Don't nobody else got 25,000 cash sitting around like that. And so the guy went and talked to his manager. He said, hey, we'll do it for 31. I said 29. Went back and talked to his boss. He said, okay, cool. I got it before everybody came out for the pandemic. We bought our vehicle in the middle of the pandemic, right? 5 years ago. Our vehicle, because of supply and demand, is still worth 43. 43,000 5 years later. Why? Because the supply and demand of the products still hadn't caught up with the inflation that's taking place around the world post-pandemic. In other words, there's still a lot more money floating around, and they still haven't made enough products to keep up with the amount of money that's floating around this planet. And if you're not thinking like the average Colombian, you would think, hey, it's the tourist's fault. No, it's not. This impacted all of us globally. So those are the 5 reasons why inflation took place in Colombia, and none of them have to do with tourists. None of it. And we're going to get to the gentrification part in a moment, and how gentrification, we're going to look at the 5 top reasons why gentrification benefited Colombia. Just like gentrification benefited Austin, Texas, benefited my city, Tampa, Florida. A lot of times we'll complain about Harlem. People complain when Harlem went gentrification, but look at Harlem now. Look at Harlem now. Look at Tampa now. Look at Austin, Texas now. Austin was mainly known to Texans. Now everybody knows about Austin, Texas now. Because gentrification took place, it's not comfortable. But there are things that benefit a country or a city when change, which is inevitable, takes place. Let's go back to the video.
I know what gentrification is, Valentina, because wait, hold
That's
on.
what is happening.
Wait, hold on, wait. Y'all are not the only ones that deal with that. In the United States, they're all around the world. People with businessmen decide we want to make more money and we don't want to sell.
Make sure you drop the link to your channel, or moderators. Could you do me a favor? Tevin King, all you guys that got a wrench, could you do me a favor? Look up Maria Sincere's channel and make sure you drop the link so we guys can. Oh, you already sent it? Okay. Yeah, make sure that you guys drop it into the chat for us. Any of you moderators, any of you guys got a wrench, just look up her channel, Maria Sincere, and make sure that you guys drop the link so we all can subscribe, because we support each other here on this channel. Shout out to Kings and Dreams in the building. Shout out to Kings and Dreams. You got your wrench, Kings. Take advantage of it.
To the local people, and they try to figure out how they can bring in foreign money or people that come from a higher earning market. You can't blame the people from the higher earning market. Who you must blame is the people who have decided, I don't want you.
It's supply and demand. It's natural that happens. If someone is willing to pay more, then the price is going to raise. It's supply and demand. It's basic economies.
Why are you mad at the person? Why are you mad at the person who is the buyer and not the person who is the seller? Because in my opinion, here's the thing.
Because
in the United States, people immigrate to the United States. People immigrate.
If you're selling whatever, like let's say a shirt, someone is willing to pay you more than what the price that you are selling it, you're obviously going to sell that to that person that is willing to pay more. Yeah.
So why are you mad at the person buying the shirt and not the person selling the shirt?
Because the person selling the shirt is natural that she will accept that offer. Like
that's a choice. Natural. Though. You're saying that's natural. That's a choice. Yeah. That person could decide.
It's supply and demand. That will never gonna happen.
You're okay, and then people are going to come into a market, and if it's affordable for them, and they can buy it, they're going to spend what they can afford. That also is only natural. So you sound like you don't like one group and you're blaming one group. People can make a choice. Sellers can make a choice and buyers can make a choice.
That doesn't make any sense.
A seller can say, let me tell you something. Colombian people owe you more loyalty than an American who has never been here. These Colombian businessmen could tell y'all, hey, we care about our people so much. We don't want to raise the cost of living for our people.
That doesn't make any sense.
You know why it doesn't make any sense? Americans, whether we want to accept it or not, we were born to understand corporate and corporate movements. Colombians are born to understand collective movements, the family dynamic, friends. We weren't raised to only think as a collective. Actually, in the United States, we don't really think as a collective as we should. But the one thing that we do think as a corporation, we understand how businesses move and maneuver. We know about how the American dream works. We know how to become a part of it. But sometimes we can go to other countries and leave them scratching the back of their necks like, what? Because they weren't raised to understand as much as we were. And I'm not saying that they don't know. There's plenty of companies around Colombia that are major corporations, but they weren't raised from birth like we were raised from birth to understand the business and the corporate dynamics. It's a part of our DNA. Business is a part of our blood, whether you're in it or not, whether you have your own or not. It's a part of who we are as Americans. So one of the things which she kept saying, well, I don't understand that. I understand that she doesn't understand it. I understand why she doesn't get it. Now, if we were to talk about family dynamic or the collective of community or the oneness of communities, I bet you she could just ramble it off. How important here in Colombia, we do this with our grandmothers and we do this with our grandfathers. We don't put them in nursing homes like you guys do all the time. We know our family, our friends, our collective. We introduce you to your wife. We introduce you to your boyfriend. We are collective. She could ramble off collective. She could ramble off collective. But when it came to corporate, we assume as Americans that everybody was born understanding corporate, commercial, and everybody doesn't. Not saying that they are less than, not saying that we are better than, but we just know that we were born under a capitalistic society, and it was they put it in our bottles when we were babies. They sprinkle a little capitalism in your baby bottle. You know what it is. By the time you get to become a kid, you know how to get a paper route, a lemonade stand. You see what I'm saying? Your parents, your grandparents are saying, if you get all A's, I'm gonna give you this amount of money, and you run to your grandparents with your report card and say, "Granddaddy, I got all A's." And in exchange for that, you know, granddaddy's gonna buy you a bike or give you some money, whatever it is. We were raised to understand the process. Whereas in other countries, we are so corporate or so capitalist as Americans, we forget that as a collective, many countries, the locals don't understand it like as much as we do. They understand get up in the morning, go to work, get up in the morning, go to work, get up in the morning, go to work. And then you have that few that go to college, of course, and then they get up in the morning, go to work after college, get up and go to work after college. And then you have the few that'll start a business here, a business there, which is excellent. But you can sit down, the average dude smoking some weed in America, and they can tell you about corporations and capitalism. In many countries, you can't do that. You can't go to the hood and talk about corporations and capitalism in many countries. And I'd say even here, you can't discuss it. I'm not saying it goes over their heads. What I'm saying is it's just not something that they were raised with as much as we were. And once again, it doesn't make us better, but it does make us a little different. And so that's why I understand how this young lady just don't get it. To where when Maria was talking, it was ABC to me. I got it. It is a choice. If I'm selling this pen for $5 and you said, Dre, that pen was so wonderful the last time I purchased it. I'll give you a perfect example. I had a brother, true story. He was about to cuss me out. This was about 4 years ago. This is American. About 4 years ago, he was about to cuss me out. You know why? Because he said, Andre, how much is your consultations? And I told him the new price of the consultations. He said, good. He said, because if you were still doing consultations for that original price, I was about to cuss you out. You put in too much work. You give up too much information. You show too much direction. You help with every, now this brother right now is happily married here in Cali, Colombia, just had his first baby, and his parents flew down to visit his in-laws and him and the new baby. Congratulations to that brother. In other words, he didn't wait for me to see the value in my product. He saw the value in my product and wanted to make sure I made a price adjustment. There are Colombians that do things down here for us that we know. For example, T-Mac. There's another example. T-Mac had his driver pick me up a couple months ago when me, Richie Mac, and T-Mac were hanging out in Medellin. T-Mac's driver gave such good service. T-Mac took care of him, and I took care of him. You know why? Because he deserved it. And we were raised that we were raised in a tip country. Colombia is not a tip country like ours is. And if you give a service or a product that's good enough, you don't have to wait to increase your price. I'll increase your price by way of my tip. I'll let you know how good you were by way of the tip. My tip might be 3 weeks of your own wages. I don't care. Your service or product was good enough. People here don't understand that sometimes. Well, if the pen only says $5 on it, you should pay $5. Well, in our country, if that pen is great and it's the only one that's left, I have no problem with paying $10 or $7 for that pen. We understand how capitalism works. We don't shun capitalism like, oh, the price has increased. What? I'm not gonna, that's crazy. There's a sister that Andre was telling me about. She was on TikTok, went to Medellin, got her nails done. She was so happy. She talked about the shop. She talked about all the service, the quality and everything. She said it was only so-and-so amount of money. I had to give her blah, 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 blah. Why? Because her service in Medellin was so good. Did she have to wait for the sister to increase her prices? Or did she say, listen, what you do, I would have paid 3 times as much in the States and wouldn't have even got this level of service. Girl, take this money because you've earned it. And a lot of times Colombians don't realize we pay those extra costs because the person they earned it by way of service or product to us. And we were raised to show appreciation monetarily. And Colombians like, once again, if it's $5, I'm paying you $5. I don't care how good you do job you do. Thank you very much for your service. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm paying you $5. You're supposed to give me a good pen that works. And there are a lot of countries like that, not just Colombia, that don't understand that we show appreciation through our money. And if we don't get proper service, what do we do as Americans? We boycott. You know why? Because we know that we can cause a company or business to shut down. In other words, they aren't getting our money. So we know how to help a company grow with our money showing appreciation, or we know how to shut a company down by not going to that company or that business or that restaurant anymore and not bringing the money. We were raised like that to understand that money talks. A lot of people weren't. A lot of people weren't. Let's continue on. I didn't mean to come over here and babble.
You're absolutely right, Valentina, but it doesn't make any sense for you to blame the people that are only paying what they
I
can
am not blaming the people. I'm just saying the gentrification is wrong. And this is something that we are facing the last few years, and it's something that we didn't have at all. You have to understand that, like, we were living better before.
Notice she's not saying that they were living better before the pandemic. She thinks before tourism. Yeah, everybody was living better before the pandemic, but she's trying to make tourism the scapegoat for the inflation that took place in Colombia and globally. And what Maria explained, like, wait a minute, we didn't cause inflation. That was going to happen anyway. It happened globally. And I like where Maria used metaphors and examples you guys are going to hear of what she went through with gentrification and inflation in her home state of Texas. So when Colombians try to talk and act like we can't relate, we can. Okay, now Andre's going to shut up. Okay, I'm going to shut up.
The locals didn't have to move forward and forward in very ghetto places because they can no longer afford it. It's ridiculous. Like, the rent is ridiculous. How so a rent in Medellin is costing nowadays like $2,000, $3,000 as this is US. That's crazy. That's insane. And all of this is happening because of Airbnb.
I understand what you're saying.
I just said the fact. I am not blaming anyone.
I understand what you're saying. My point is the people that are profiting from that the most are the Colombian people.
No, the Colombians. Most of the listen,
no. You're not listening. Let me finish what I'm saying. The people who are profiting the most are the Colombian businessmen who own, or the Colombians who own these properties. I understand the rent.
The gringos are the ones who are buying these properties nowadays. In the corner of my house, there is an Airbnb, a new brand Airbnb, which over there it was like an old house, and foreigners buy that land, buy that house, and they turn it.
So the Colombian that sold that property didn't make money off of that. They didn't benefit from that. They didn't make way more money from that transaction than what they would have made selling it to a you think that person?
So that's beneficial if everything is going to raise for everyone. Look,
I didn't say it was beneficial. I'm saying the Colombian that sold that property benefit. I didn't say everybody benefited. I said the Colombian that sold that. You're more upset with the person who bought the property versus the Colombian who could have chose to sell that property to another Colombian at market
supply and demand.
Exactly. So I get that you understand the supply and demand part. I'm saying the irrational double standard is that you are blaming the foreigner and you are not blaming the Colombian person who made a choice. Supply and demand is not automatic. It is a choice. That person could have chose to say, I care about my people, I would rather sell this property to a Colombian person at market value. Instead, they made a choice and said, I'd rather a foreigner own it and make more money. But you want to blame the foreigner. Valentina, let me tell you, the problem is y'all are not the only people that deal with gentrification. I'm from Texas in the southern United States. And what happened is in the United States, all the rent went up in New York. It went up in California. I used to live in Texas. We used to have $500 rent. Our rent used to be just as cheap as the rent in, or if not cheaper than some places in Colombia. You could get an apartment back in the day for $200, $300, $400. You could get an efficiency. Everybody, not just from Texas, but all other countries in the world started moving to Texas. And guess what? Now our rent is $2,000.
Do you think that's right? Do you think the locals there will be?
You're speaking as if I don't understand what y'all have been through here. When I had to go through this in my own state, and this happened with American people doing this and foreigner people doing this. And you know what? I did not blame me personally. I chose not to blame the people moving to our state, because in our state, we don't have a lot of opportunities. We don't have a lot of high income jobs in Texas. In other parts of the countries, we do. I wasn't rude in telling the people that were coming there that they need to go back home, or that they were taking advantage, or they were doing all that, because I understood that
you are misunderstanding everything that I'm saying.
You said what?
You are misunderstanding everything that I'm saying.
Chat, do y'all think I misunderstood anything that she said? Let me ask the people in the chat.
It's not about what I'm saying right now. It's about my
misunderstood anything she said?
It's about my videos. So I don't agree with the gentrification, and it's also natural that the locals don't agree with that and are mad about it, obviously. But then I am not blaming the tourists, and I don't hate the tourists that are coming here, because I am obviously benefiting from it. But even if I am benefiting from the tourism, it doesn't mean that I am going to be privileged. Like, I am very privileged, and it doesn't mean that that's going to blind me from the reality that my people is having to go through. So I'm just speaking about that, just for the people to know.
You know who doesn't complain about gentrification? And I noticed this a few years ago. Who doesn't complain about gentrification? Who doesn't complain about inflation? Who doesn't complain about expats or tourists that are coming to Colombia? The middle class, the upper middle class, and the rich Colombians. I have never seen somebody that has an education and a good job complaining. I have yet to see a Colombian that's selling arepas on the corner and making good money off of expats coming there complaining. I haven't seen one person that owns that shop where we go to buy Colombian jerseys complaining. Not one corporation, not even the mayor of any of these cities complaining about gentrification, improvements, and the $4 billion we spent in Medellin over the last 3 years. Not one. Who do you find mostly talking about gentrification in our cities, in the states? People that can't even afford to even consider buying a house. People in Florida that complain about gentrification with the hood folks. Let's be real. Just average everyday people that wouldn't be able to buy a house in 20 years because they don't save and they don't invest like that. They complain about gentrification. The people that I noticed in New York and Harlem that was complaining, it wasn't the people that had money in Harlem that would complain. It was the broke folk in Harlem that complained. In Tampa, same thing. And I bet you the same thing in Texas. It was not people that had money. And I don't mean balling. I mean middle-class average New Yorkers that are making good money and maybe could buy a house in a year or apartment in a year or two, or even tomorrow. They weren't complaining about gentrification. They understood the concept. It's always people that complain that ain't got ish. And you know the other thing I noticed about down here? The most people that complain about down here, just like back home in the States, complain about areas that they couldn't afford to buy even if we never came here. If not one tourist came to this country, Ecuador, Brazil, doesn't matter. Much of the people that complain about gentrification couldn't afford to buy that house in that corner anyway. Couldn't afford to open up that business and sell us jerseys anyway. Couldn't have had enough sense to stand on that corner and sell the arepas anyway. I've noticed that it's always the people that ain't got ish, don't want to do ish, ain't gonna become ish. The only reason she making a few dollars because of us. In other words, if we didn't get off the plane, she'd be in the midst of those that ain't got. The only thing that's opened up the doors for her is that she had enough sense to learn English. So now she can get the English tourists, right? Because she knows English. If it wasn't for the English, she'd be up in them hills that she complained about. She'd be up in them same dang hills. What's my point? It's always the people that ain't got ish, the main ones that got the most to say as if they got ish. They complain as if he parked, this American parked his Chevy Spark in front of my Lamborghini. How dare he? That's how they talk to us. As if, how dare he buy that house, which the one lady just said was abandoned. I'm gonna say this again, because I can replay it. She just told Maria that house on that corner was abandoned, not empty, abandoned. We all know that I'm from Detroit. If don't nobody know about abandoned houses, we got the most abandoned houses in the country, and that's been for years, since I was a kid. That means that house been sitting there for some years. Not one Colombian saw it as an investment piece or place where they want to stay. Enter the expat. The expat saw it. I can do something with it. No, you can't. Believe you me, I can do something with that. You sure? I can do something with that abandoned building. I know a few things I can do with that abandoned building. So even though the rest of the people in that community were scratching the back of their head like, I would never buy that house, the expat came and purchased the house, and now she's pissed. Not that the Colombians saw the business side of it, which many can, but they didn't. And so the expat came and gave the dollars and saw from the capitalistic mindset how they could capitalize on buying an abandoned building. And only a person that lives in a neighborhood with an abandoned building and you still fussing. She's fussing as if she was about to buy the building. No, she wasn't. Her auntie was about to buy. No, she wasn't. Oh, her coworker was about. Oh, no, she wasn't. No. She's selling tours. She ain't had no coworker. Oh, okay. Who was about to buy that abandoned building? Nobody. So why you fussing as if somebody was about to buy that building other than the expat? No matter what takes place with gentrification, you're going to always hear the people that ain't got nothing going on complaining the most. That's globally. When we went to France, same tears. They complaining about gentrification. And you know who complained the most? The French that ain't had nothing. They complain the most. When we went to UK, they complaining. Why? Because shifts are being made in the UK. And guess what? Guess who's complaining? The ones that ain't had nothing. It's always the ones that ain't got nothing, as if they about to do something, that complain. Marching up and down Medellin. Okay, what y'all gonna do? Are y'all gonna pool together and buy that piece of property? No, we just marching. Oh, so y'all just marching, but y'all ain't about to buy that property. So you don't want me to buy it as an expat, but you ain't got the money to buy it, but you got the money to march and try to tell me to go home. Does that make any sense? It doesn't. We're all going through this since the post-pandemic, all of us. And that's one of the things Maria tried to explain to her. Yeah, seriously. And I would explain to her. That's a good point, T-Mac. And that's crazy. I'm going to drop the link to Maria's channel in a second. Did any of you guys get a chance to drop the link? Yeah. Yep, bad press. And it's just like that. He said, well, it seems like that she's been up. It seems like about to be up in these hills anyway. She's alienated her. Right. Right. Why would you pick and choose your battles? One thing we can say about politicians in the States, they might not like each other, but they know how to pick and choose their battles. And we learned from that. Hey, everything ain't to be said. Pick and choose your battles. To sit back and go on social media where most people will see you and sit back and say, I don't like tourists, but you like our money. Yeah. You like when we come and spend money. Yeah. But then you want us to get the hell out. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Let's continue on.
Understand and educate the people about the situation that is going on, about that, about the gentrification. But the video that you are saying that I made, that I hate the foreigners in general, that's a misunderstanding, because I don't hate the tourists in general. I just don't like specifically the ones that are coming here for sex tourism, and I don't want them because at the end of the day, they don't even end up being my clients.
Okay, here we go. Check it out. She's lying. She just, you can't say that you don't like, okay, she said, I agree with her. She might not like the intimacy, the red light tourists that come through. Okay, right? She might not like the red light tourists. The red light tourist has nothing to do with gentrification. We all know in the States, in other countries, gentrification are those that come to live in a community, not visit. You can't say on one side, I don't like gentrification, but then you also say, I don't like sexpats. I think that she don't like either one of us. I really think in my heart, she doesn't like the sexpats, and most of us don't, because Pookie, Ray, Nook, and them ain't nothing but been a headache ever since they started following us to different countries. We can't go to Thailand, we can't go to the Philippines without Pookie and Ray following us. So we agree, we do not like them dudes, and we glad that Colombia is starting to purge, and other countries are going to follow suit. Shout out to Brazil. But I think she even dislikes even more the gentrifiers. In other words, myself, T-Mac, Will, J. Clyde, Maria, and all the one sister that I was telling you guys that I want to interview. She's been school teaching here in Colombia for 10 years. She started here in Cali. She's in Medellin now. The gentrifiers, the people that actually live here and don't visit. I think she dislikes us even more because we don't come and put money in her pocket as a tourist and just leave. We come here and we live here. We love here. We enjoy here. We discover life here. And there are those that want to go back to post-pandemic when they were the only ones that can appreciate this beautiful country. But it's not like that anymore. And time is not going to go backwards. We're not going anywhere. If we're not here, some other tourists are going to come. Here's the other thing I'm going to end with this before I continue on. It's funny how they don't like it now that the brothers and the sisters are here. Long as the white tee women and the white tee men was coming to Colombia, we ain't hear none of these complaints. They've been living here for the longest. Long as the white tee men and the white tee women was living here, I want a blue-eyed blonde baby. In the black community, what they say? Whiten up the race, lighten up the, ain't say nothing when the white brothers and sisters was coming down here. Soon as some melanin started popping up, here come the picket signs. No matter how much money we got, here come the picket signs. This country is such a beautiful country. And if it's done correctly and legally, we all can enjoy it. Just like all of us enjoyed and people coming to our country, the United States, all the time to enjoy it. The same shifts are taking place in population globally. And a lot of people are just uncomfortable with the shift. And that's what it is. Let's continue on.
And they are annoying me all the time. I have almost 1,000 people blocked on my WhatsApp because it's a bunch of weirdos asking me for sex, for finding women, or if I am a prostitute or something like that. And that's so annoying.
I agree. I agree 100%. That in that instance, when she said that, I agree. You Pookies and Ray Rays, y'all some of the most disrespectful dudes, man. And we know nobody on this panel and in our chatter like that. But we all who travel here know some dudes that are Pookies, Ray Rays, Nook Nooks, and the old ratchet dudes, the Paw Paws, that come to these countries. They do it in Brazil. They do it in Thailand. They will see a Thai woman that's a waitress and try to pay for her. How much for you when you get off work? How many times have we seen in Colombia or in Brazil, women on social media complaining, I am a waitress. I am here to serve you a meal. Here we go. Here come Pookie. Girl, how much for you when you get off work? I know you got some friends. That right there, them sex packs, like my girl Tours by D say, those passport sexuals, I ain't gonna lie. She right about that. There are too many dudes that followed us good dudes and good women down to these other countries. Like I always say, name one country that Pookie, Ray Ray, Nook Nook and them went to first before we did. Germany? Nope. They followed us there. Poland? Nope. They followed us to Poland. Panama? Nope. Pookie followed us to Panama. They didn't discover Panama. Them Pookies waited until we got to Panama. The good brothers and sisters, the older brothers and sisters, the younger, like Austin Holloman brothers and sisters. And then here come Pookie coming to Panama. Mexico? Hell no. They followed us to Mexico. Canada. Man, Pookie waited until we got to Canada to see what Toronto was like. As soon as we start telling about the Afro Caribbean festival that happens in Toronto every year, here come all the Pookies. Dude, I've been going to the Toronto Caribbean Festival since I was a teen. In Detroit, all you got to do is drive 3 hours straight up 401, and you're in Toronto in 3 hours. Every August, they've been having the Caribbean Festival because there's so many people of Caribbean descent that lives in Toronto. They have a major celebration up there. Soon as Pookie found out that we was doing it, here come Pookie and Ray Ray ass. So I gotta agree with her. A lot of these dudes are so disrespectful to the local women, and that's why local women don't know what. My wife family had to vet me because of them. Say this again. They didn't have to vet me as Andre. My wife family vetted me as an American because Pookie and Ray Ray's from American all the way in Cali. We in the south of Colombia. All the way down here has such a bad reputation in Medellin and Cartagena all the way back in 2016 that her family all, bruh, true story, they all standing there like this. Wasn't no vetting Andre. They didn't care nothing about Andre. Andre seemed like a good dude. They want to see, is this one of them Pookies? Is he a pawpaw? Is he one of them disrespectful old dudes that come down here and use our women? If he one of those, he can't be in this family. Oh, you might as well take him back to the trash can where you got him, Andrea. Don't be bringing this one here. It took me till Christmas coming down here, true story, where they realized, okay, if he here for Christmas and New Year's, that means that he don't have a wife back home. He ain't got no kids. Okay. He ain't got no girlfriend because ain't no girlfriend gonna let him come down to another country on Christmas and New Year's. Okay. That's when they were like, okay, cool. He is who he said he is. Why did I have to go through that? Because so many Pookies come down here and are so disrespectful to too many, not all, but to too many women. The word spreads across the country. So what you guys were doing in Medellin in 2016 got all the way down to the south in Cali. So even though I wasn't a part of that madness, the rumors had already spread it. Don't trust Americans, especially the men, because of. So I had to go through extra vetting, not because, and some of you guys can relate to what I'm talking about. There are Colombians today that you really like her, but she's a little standoffish for a little while longer. Why? Because they've seen what a lot of European men do and a lot of American men do and a lot of dudes from Australia and other parts of the world have done to some, not all, some of the local women and have tarnished our own reputation. So now a lot of the women are staying off. You think you got to vet a Colombian woman, bruh, you just don't know. She vetting your ass too. She vetting you too. Her family vetting you. Why do you think she bring you to the family so fast? Because they gonna sit you down, give you a drink, some aguardiente, and put you right in front of that spotlight. Click, cut that light on, and see if he worth being around you. Don't y'all ever think that you can get off the plane and you a good dude, that you are not being judged because of what Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nook of them did in Medellin. That one I can agree with. That one I agree with 100%.
So we don't need that type of people. We don't need that type of people.
I don't agree with that. And I think that's very disrespectful. No woman should have to go through that. And I said before, I understand why y'all are frustrated with the reputation that sex tourists bring.
And we didn't
1000%.
We didn't have this reputation. The ones that are creating this reputation is these influencers, like for example, Chill Capo. Well, it's many. I'm not even going to say their names, but it's many companies and content creators and influencers that are marketing Medellin like this way, and they're attracting more and more, sex tourism, which is very negative for for the country itself, because it's attracting the trash of the war. It's attracting pedophiles. I mean, many like dark things are going on in Medellin and no one is talking about that. And all of this is because these influencers are attracting this type of clients or this type of people. And we are sick and tired of that at the point that migration is kicking them out. That's the reason.
So I just went through the whole backstory. And again, I'm not defending Chill Capo, but what I will say is this. Well, maybe you weren't aware of this. Did you know that Chill Capo was actually working for Colombian clubs, and the clubs were the ones providing the girls? So
the nightclub, in Jettas Park.
Yes. So what do you, to those clubs and those club owners who facilitated this American man promoting the club in that way, what do you have to say?
I am not even talking about that, because that's a whole mafia right there behind that. And I am not even talking about that.
So Valentina, what it sounds like to me is that you're willing to criticize, you don't like the sex tourism, which I understand that's completely valid. It's completely valid. I completely 1000% understand why you're saying that. But at the same time, what it sounds like is you're only willing to criticize the lowest hanging fruit. And what that means in English, you only willing to criticize the people that it's easy to criticize. And to me, what that sounds like to me is you're not really standing on business. Because if you were really about what you said that you're about and you really don't like it, you would be willing to criticize every side of it, because it's a two-way street.
I am not criticizing. I am raising my voice.
Okay, well, raise your voice. How you can call it what you want to call it, whatever you need to call it. But you have to be willing to contend with every part of it, every element. And if you're only willing to raise your voice against the part that's easy and not the part that's difficult, you're not standing on business. I'm going to say this too. I don't really think you're standing on business if you say, you can speak up and say tourism is making things expensive. But at the end of the day, if you feel like it's beneficial for you to go make money on it, then you're on both sides of the fence. Because if you really cared about it and it was really bothering you, you would say, I don't even want to make money off of it, because I don't agree with it that much. And that's the problem that people have with you, Valentina. You want to criticize the same thing that you're making money off of, but then you want to say, I don't like the higher prices for the locals. So you think, if that's what's raising the prices, but yet you're doing tours, you're promoting them, it's attracting people to your city to spend more money on it. So it's like you have to pick a side. What side do you want to be on? Do you want to be anti-tourist and not benefit from it? Or do you want to be pro-tourism and benefit from it? I understand the whole sex tourism thing is something completely different. I don't agree with it. It shouldn't be happening. I completely 100%
so why you
agree with you on that.
Couple?
But to criticize tourism in general while still profiting from it, because here's my thing. But if are you going to these restaurants that are expensive? Are you only going to the restaurants in the barrio that have menu del dia? Are you going to nice places?
What that has to do with anything?
It has everything to do with it, because if you don't like the gentrification, but you're spending money in the gentrified places and on the gentrification, you don't really stand on business. You're just talking to be talking, but you don't believe in what you say.
Before she goes,
you just want to complain, but when it benefits you to make the money and then go spend the money, you don't care. And that's what people are saying. You got to stand on business about it if you're going to be about it.
She made an excellent point, and that brings us to, real quick, to the 5 benefits of gentrification. 5 benefits that I found out about when it came to gentrification. Number 1, it can lead to improved infrastructure, better roads, because of tax dollars that are coming in by way of sales of for example, Medellin making $4 billion over the last few years. That brings in a lot of tax money. That helps improve roads and the public space, the infrastructure in general. Number 2, it attracts, just like the sister said, new types and new businesses, new types of businesses. In other words, instead of just having businesses that are for the locals, now you have new cuisines, for example, different cuisines of restaurants that are coming to Colombia. Medellin, you got Jamaican restaurants now. You've got African-American soul food restaurants now. You've got more Mexican restaurants now. You got Peruvian restaurants. Why? Because of diversity and the gentrification that came. Number 3, property values can increase. I don't think a lot of Colombians realize that when somebody buys a property and it's of a higher price, it impacts the whole neighborhood, especially if there was an abandoned house on the corner and someone fixed it up and made it real nice. Now, as we know as Americans, that helps to impact the improvement of the prices of the whole neighborhood's house. I mean, the whole neighborhood's a housing market. That allows homeowners that decide to stay in the area after gentrification cause price increase. I'll give you a perfect example of price increase. You should ask some of the people that still live in El Poblado how much their property is worth over the last 7 years. The property increase of an apartment that you may have owned. For example, you got our brother Kings and Dreams and my brother Will and all you guys that own property in Medellin. Some of you guys that have been here for a while, you know that the value of your property has increased due to the fact of you bought it as gentrification was taking place. I know one old lady, man, in Parque Aires, El Poblado area, they've been trying to buy her property for the longest. And the price is gone up. And she's like, no, I'm happy where I am. I'm cool. I don't want to sell it. But the value of her home, because that area around her has been gentrified, the price of her property has increased. Like I said, usually when people complain, it's the people that ain't got nothing to benefit from when it comes to gentrification. Number 4, increase in safety and security in neighborhoods that are invested in. You notice they are cleaning up El Poblado. Why? Gentrification. Big businesses coming into that area now, not just Colombian businesses. Foreign investors are coming over there. And so now they're cleaning it up. They've got the military out there as well as the local police officers. Have you noticed that there have been more arrests now over the last 3 years when somebody gets scoped? Have you noticed? You guys remember, prior to 3 years ago, them women were getting away with murder, weren't they? Was it this many arrests? No. Every blue moon you would see, hey, they caught this one girl who drugged this one guy. Now they locking them up 5 years, 15 years, 20 years. If the person dies, 25 years. The least that you can get, if you get caught scoping somebody, and the least, let's put it like this. I did the homework, and the least amount of sentence that I've seen, if you scope somebody and they survive and you rob them, 5 to 7 years. I haven't seen anybody get 3 years. None of these women getting 3 years. The highest I've seen was like a woman, the dude died, and they gave her like 27 or 32 years because the dude died. They are not playing anymore. Gentrification caused that. The last thing that gentrification caused, cultural exchange growth. Cultural, it's amazing how many Colombians in the middle class areas now use and know English. English wasn't a big deal prior to gentrification, was it? It's like that here in Cali. You know, we live in zone 5, in Sonata 5. It will amaze you how many of my neighbors in Cali speak English. My neighbor next door, old dude, his son goes to FSU. I'm talking about there are people all around, dude. Every time you turn around, somebody's trying, and then they're teaching English in school now. So now the kids are running up to me, talking to me all the time. You don't give me a chance to practice my Spanish at all. Gentrification. Cultural exchange. We start to understand their culture. They start to understand our culture on a global scale. All this happened because of gentrification. In the States, people from Texas understand people from California a little bit more, don't they? People from Texas post Katrina start to understand people from New Orleans a little bit more. Why? Because a lot of people from New Orleans, during the time period of Katrina, went to Texas and brought some of their recipes and brought some of their culture and brought some of their music and began to understand Texas a lot more. And Texas began to understand New Orleans a lot more. There are benefits to gentrification that we don't want to admit. And I just told you 5 of them. Let's get back to the video. Yeah, his son goes to FSU in the States. Yep. Let's continue on, gentlemen and ladies.
So I work as a tour guide and I work with tourists, and yeah, I clearly benefiting from the tourism, but at the same time, I am paisa, I am local, and I see how my friends and family are struggling, and that's not fair. So I can't just agree with one or the other.
Okay.
I mean, it's something that you don't understand because you don't see or you don't
understand because we went through it in Texas. See, here's the problem, Valentina. A lot of y'all don't see. A lot of y'all don't understand that
in USA is a lot more opportunities than here in Colombia. That's
not everywhere in the United States, Valentina, and everything is relative. In the United States, everything costs way more. Everything, and in some parts of the United States, there are a lot of jobs and opportunities, and then in the other places they're not. How is that different? If an American person lived in an area where there's not that many job opportunities and they were paying a low amount of rent, $400 in rent, and somebody that came with a remote job from New York can afford to pay triple the price, how is that different? The problem is a lot of y'all don't see Americans as humans and people because
boom.
Y'all idolize our country and y'all don't see us as humans who are capable of experiencing the same things that y'all experience. I just explained to you the exact same economic situation that people in the American South had to deal with, and you're making it seem like I don't understand solely because I'm American. When you've never been to America and experienced the economy and the situation in America, and I've been to both and I understand what's going on. It's the exact same situation, and for that, I empathize with you, and I understand it's a financial strain on a lot of the local Colombians. What I am telling you is you can't both sit up and say you don't like it and you're against it and benefit from it. Be about what you say that you're about. If you say that you don't like tourism, then don't try to sell to.
I am not saying I don't like tourism.
If you feel like you've said several times that you feel like
tourism.
Okay, but you said several times, not just sex tourism, that people buying properties here, people coming here for tourism, whatever the case may be,
that's not tourism.
Prices.
So listen, the way I see it is that the tourists just come, they spend the money, and they benefit actually a lot of locals because they go to Comuna 13, they buy ice cream there, they buy shirts, they buy many things. So actually the locals benefit, the locals are actually benefiting a lot from the tourism. Like normal travelers truly interested in getting to know the culture, and then they leave. That's perfect. But the ones that are living here, or the ones that come for sex tourism, that is the problem.
You see how I said that earlier? She dislikes the sex pats, and she dislikes us that stay. She just wants our money, and that's all she wants. And then she also mentioned earlier, she sees the struggle of her family members. Her family members not being able to get a job, That has nothing to do with foreigners. That has nothing to do with gentrification. That has nothing to do with tourism. Dude, everybody's family globally is struggling. The job markets are horrible globally. Shout out to our Canadian brother, Black Nubian, in the building.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, "Oh, Canada."
Yeah, I'm going to email me that link, and I'm going to drop that link in a second, T-Mac. Nobody. Let me just.
So what?
Okay, there we go. That's what it is with her. She has two groups that she doesn't like. She doesn't like the sexpats, which is understandable. If you come here and you do your thing, and you don't act like a pookie about it. Okay, let's be real. Statistically, out of the 3.5 million visitors that Medellin got last year, and the percentage, a small percentage of guys that came down here and enjoyed some of the ladies. I truly believe, and I'm not even in that world, but I truly believe most guys came down here and were respectful. Stayed in their lane, went to brothels or had fun at a strip club, whatever it was, and were not problematic and went back home. I truly believe that. Now, what we do know, that there is a huge pool of dudes that are down here or come down here disrespectfully and don't care about the people here and try to touch children here. We talked about this the other day. Some of the reasons why a person can not be able to come to Colombia. We're going to talk about that again in a minute. Why is it that some people cannot come to Colombia? Let's talk about that real quick. What can keep you from making it out of that airport? Y'all ready? Here we go. Conviction of any domestic violence anywhere in the world. You're on the Interpol list. Interpol is the list that's global. Most countries are connected to Interpol. We're not just talking about Colombia Angels list that they get from America. If you put your hands on a woman in New Zealand, and it can show up on Interpol. You ain't walking in Colombia. All right, guys, I'm back. My bad. You know how, hey, struggle streams do happen. Okay. Okay, so number one reason why you will be turned around in Colombia. Here's the kicker, guys. You can be turned around in Colombia, fly to Thailand, and they will turn your ass around in Thailand too. I think a lot of you guys are starting to, a lot of guys, not us, are discovering that this list is international. So if you're convicted of domestic violence in the States, Bruh, don't get on the plane coming to Colombia. They know. Number 2, repeat incidents of stalking or harassment. If there's any point in time that you have been known to be a stalker and the police has had to stop you and charges have been filed against you, you will not be able to come into Colombia. Tell your boys this, share the word. Number 3, convicted of any child exploitation or abuse. That's why all the creepy dudes are being turned around away from Colombia now. If you've been convicted or you're on that list, I'm telling you now, you know what list I'm talking about, the P list. If you're on that list for messing with kids, don't think you're walking into most countries. Number 4, use a weapon or excessive force during a domestic incident. In other words, you got in a fight with another dude and weapons were drawn. Whether you was throwing hot balls at him or whether you was trying to put that thing in him, you ain't coming to Colombia. If you get convicted, you got into a fight with a dude and you got convicted, Colombia, Europe, all throughout Europe, they know. All 54 countries of Africa know through Interpol. Number 5, violation of a restriction, violated a protective order or restraining order. If you violated a restraining order, your ass ain't walking into Colombia. You better tell your boys this one. You ain't walking into Colombia. If you violated any restraining order, you went to that woman's house when you ain't had no business going. I don't care if it was your mama that put the restraining order on you. If your mama told you, you ain't coming back to this house, boy, you crazy. You violate and you got convicted by that violation, don't think you coming to Colombia. Don't think you coming to Ecuador, Peru, Brazil. Soon as they run your name through Interpol, that's going to pull up. Number 6, active or current warrants. Did they not send the crazy white dude, the MAGA dude with the red hat, back to the States? Did they not call the States and say, hey, I see New York, y'all got some warrants out for this dude's arrest. He's going to be on plane number so-and-so and so-and-so. When he land on that plane, go ahead, America, lock him up. Did not Colombia call the United States and tell them, we got one of your boys over here, he got a warrant? Come to find out he was crazy. If you got warrants and you just so happen to make it past the planes and get on a plane in the States and you think you home free, I'm telling you, South America will put you right back on the next plane and send you on back to the States. Number 7, human trafficking or smuggling anything. Anything. Some of them dudes got sent back for having 300 condoms, didn't they? Sent them dudes right on back for having 300-400 condoms, didn't they? Yeah. What about all them butt plugs and all those other toys, those adult toys they had? Did they not send them back? Yeah, they sent them back. You can't smuggle nothing into another country. What are you doing? See, when y'all think about smuggling, we as Americans, we think something that's illegal. Colombians say it ain't got to be illegal. It got to be something that we consider that it looks like you smuggling something in. So if it looks like you trying to smuggle a mass of something in, you ain't coming into this country. Number 8 reason why they turning you around at the airport: fake identification. If your story doesn't line up with why you're coming to Colombia or how long you're going to be in Colombia, when they question you, or your identification doesn't line up, yeah, you ain't coming to Colombia, bro. You can turn around, bro. You ain't coming up in here. They ain't playing that no more. That's why they stopping dudes randomly and questioning you. Why? Because they want to make sure that your story makes sense. And a lot of guys got turned back because their story or identification didn't make sense. And last one, number 9, immigration violation in other countries. Bruh, if you overstay in Panama, Panama charges you a fee. You pay the fee. Guess what country you ain't coming to? Colombia. If you overstayed in any country, Colombia say, your ass ain't coming into this country. See, some of y'all think that the only reason they turning dudes away is because he come down for the ladies. A lot of these dudes being turned away because they fall in the category of these 9 reasons we just talked about. They got turned away in another country because they overstayed in another country. And then they tried to come to Colombia maybe a year later. And Colombia said, oh, nah, bro, you overstayed in Panama about 13 months ago. You can't come here. So any of you dudes that got that bad habit of overstaying your passport time in another country and not filing for an extension, don't worry about it. You're going to go right on that Interpol list and your ass ain't going to walk up in Colombia no time too soon. They're not playing anymore, fellas. Number 10, you on the watch list. That's the number 1 reason why a lot of guys getting turned around, because you are on that angels list or that Interpol list. You on that list of people that should not be traveling nowhere, no time too soon for nothing. You on that list because you messed around with some kids or you did something in the past that you ain't had no business doing. And you on the angels list. Or you on the Interpol list. And they turning your ass right, and you get your ass right back on that plane. So just in case you guys are wondering, why are most of these men that are coming towards Colombia being turned around? A lot of us think that it's only the sex part. A lot of guys are being turned around because of these 10 reasons that I just mentioned. I just want to let you guys know that these 10 reasons that I just mentioned, a lot of you guys are going to be turned back. This country is not playing games anymore. Is it fair? No, life ain't fair. But we gave them $4 billion in the last 3 years. We spent 60. This is the crazy part. Y'all ready? Over the last 10 years, we spent $16 billion on pay-for-play in Colombia. A lot of y'all didn't know that, did you? You spent $16 billion on some coochie. 16? Dude, I want you to. They say it takes a million seconds. I think they say 37 days. I think they said 1 billion seconds are like, I forget how many years, like 40, 50 years in seconds. That's 1 billion. 1 billion. If you just had one tick, take 1 billion seconds. They say like 40, 50 years. Now, my calculations could be incorrect, but it's right around that family. You dudes spent $16 billion on coochie? You know what y'all could have came here and built as a unit with $16 billion in the last 10 years? Not 16 million on coochie. We ain't talking about all of South America. We're talking about just in Colombia alone. You thirsty mother came down here and spent 16 billion? Man, listen, my respect level for the sex pats, it ain't even there. I ain't got no respect for it. I ain't got nothing against it. Do your thing. But I'm telling you something now, ain't none of my money went towards the $16 billion. $16 billion. Remember I told you about the one dude in the two dudes a couple years ago in Medellin. Spent $100,000 in paper play in 6 months. Two dudes did that. Was paying chicks $4,000 a lick. So you wonder how y'all can spend $16 billion? That's how y'all doing it. And Colombia tired. Thank you for the money. But that's not fair, Dre. They took our $16 billion and they took our $4 million over the last 3 years. Thank you. Thank you. It's some paper plate chicks living good. They own property. They own Airbnbs now. Thank you. It's some paper plate chicks that have made it through college now. Thank you. It's some paper plate chicks that went from a motorcycle to a car now. Thank you. Life ain't fair. Life is not fair. I don't know why y'all keep. If anybody know life ain't fair, men know it. Life is gonna halfway be fair to old people, women, kids, and pets. We try to at least have life be halfway fair to women, old people, kids, and pets. Don't nobody try to make life fair for men. So if y'all want to sit back and cry about that $16 billion that they made off you and now they kicking y'all out the countries, well, you go ahead and cry, bro. But you got to get on that plane and cry. You got to get on that plane and cry. This country is not playing. I've been saying this for the last 7 years. This is not nothing that I'm saying new. They're tired. They're tired of dragging your body outside of an Airbnb, and you've been laying there deceased for the last 5 days, and the only reason they knew your body was there because they could smell it. They're tired of it. They're tired of foreigners just smoking whatever and just jumping out of windows in Medellin all the dang time. They're tired of it. They're tired of you touching on kids. Well, they touch kids. This is their country. How you gonna sit up there and compare you touching kids to them touching kids? Should nobody be doing it, but at the end of the day, this is their country. We don't want nobody to criticize what we do in our country. It ain't our job to criticize and compare ourselves to what they do in their country. And we definitely ain't got no business messing with nobody else's kids if we don't want nobody to be messing with ours. What's my point? It ain't fair. You spent your $16 billion. Thank you very much. Now get the hell out. That's what Colombia is saying. You spent your $16 billion. You spent another $4 million over the last 3 years in Medellin alone. Thank you very much. Now get the stepping, skedaddle, scram, run amok. And they're serious. So if you on this list for whooping some woman's tail in the States, all that domestic violence that you never thought was gonna catch up with you, yeah, according to Colombia, yeah, your ass can't come to this country. Whooping on women's asses in the States and think you could just come to Colombia as if your domestic violence spree can continue on in another country. Colombia ain't playing that. Put your hands on a woman in the United States you want to. Put your hands on a woman in Canada you want to. Put your hands on a woman in South Africa you want to. And come on, skipping over here to Colombia you want to. And they will put your old domestic violence ass right back on that. Get your ass out. You ain't gonna be whooping up on our women. What the hell you think you doing bringing your ass all the way from South Africa? You got a record for whooping up on women. You ain't gonna come to Colombia. Y'all crazy. Let's continue on. Y'all didn't come here to hear my mouth. Y'all did not come here to hear my mouth. Let's continue on. Let me bring the video back up, by the way. Froze for a second. Let me bring the video back up, and then I'll take a...
Explicitly said, Medellin doesn't need tourism. same thing that you're making money off of, but then you want to say I don't like the higher prices for the locals. So you think, you know, if that's what's raising the prices, but yet you're doing tours.
I'm going to read the super chats in a second, gentlemen.
You're promoting them. It's attracting people to your city to spend more money on it. So it's like you have to pick a side. What side do you want to be on? Do you want to be anti-tourist and not benefit from it? Or do you want to be pro-tourism and benefit from it? I understand the whole sex tourism thing is something completely different. I don't agree with it. It shouldn't be happening. I completely 100%
so why you
agree
support
with you on that. But to criticize tourism in general while still profiting from it, because here's my thing: that if you're are you going to
Hey, Maria, if you're still here, that was a good move. That was a good move. I caught that earlier when I watched this. Maria was explaining about, hey, we don't support that. I'm glad that Colombia is cracking down. The young lady says to her, well, why you support Chill Chapo? Maria ain't miss a beat. Ain't even feed into it. I caught that early. I was like, oh, so there you go. There you go. Don't feed into it. Stay the course. Stay the course. Talk about your topic. Don't let her distract you. Because she could have easily said, I don't support him, or why shouldn't I support him? Either way, she didn't. And for you guys that didn't catch that, I caught it earlier. I like how she did not let her just throw stuff at the wall and hope that something sticks. Let me bring that beat back.
Them, it's attracting people to your city to spend more money on it. So it's like you have to pick a side. What side do you want to be on? Do you want to be anti-tourist and not benefit from it? Or do you want to be pro-tourism and benefit from it? I understand the whole sex tourism thing is something completely different. I don't agree with it. It shouldn't be happening. I completely 100%
so why you
agree with
support
you on that. But to criticize tourism in general while still profiting from it, because here's my thing: that if you're are you going to these restaurants that are expensive, are you only going to the restaurants in the barrio that have menu del dia? Are you going to nice places?
What that has to do with anything?
It has everything to do with it, because if you don't like the gentrification, but you're spending money in the gentrified places and on the gentrification, you don't really stand on business. You're just talking to be talking, but you don't believe in what you say. You just want to complain, but when it benefits you to make the money and then go spend the money, you don't care. And that's what people are saying. You got to stand on business about it if you're going to be about it.
So I work as a tour guide and I work with tourists, and yeah, I clearly benefiting from the tourism, but at the same time, I am paisa, I am local, and I see how my friends and family are struggling, and that's not fair. So I can't just agree with one or the other.
Okay.
I mean, it's something that you don't understand because you don't see or you don't
understand, because we went through it in Texas. See, here's the problem, Valentina. A lot of y'all don't see. A lot of y'all don't understand that
in USA it's a lot more opportunities than here in Colombia. That's
not everywhere in the United States, Valentina, and everything is relative. In the United States, everything costs way more. Everything, and in some parts of the United States, there are a lot of jobs and opportunities, and then other places they're not. How is that different? If an American person lived in an area where there's not that many job opportunities and they were paying a low amount of rent, $400 in rent, and somebody that came with a remote job from New York can afford to pay triple the price, how is that different? The problem is a lot of y'all don't see Americans as humans and people because y'all idolize our country, and y'all don't see us as humans who are capable of experiencing the same things that y'all experience. I I just explained to you the exact same economic situation that people in the American South had to deal with, and you're making it seem like I don't understand solely because I'm American. When you've never been to America and experienced the economy and the situation in America, and I've been to both, and I understand what's going on. It's the exact same situation, and for that, I empathize with you, and I understand it's a financial strain on a lot of the local Colombians. What I am telling you is you can't both sit up and say you don't like it and you're against it and benefit from it. Be about what you say that you're about. If you say that you don't like tourism, then don't try to sell
I am not saying I don't like tourism.
If you feel like you've said several times that you feel
sex
like
tourism.
Okay. But you said several times, not just sex tourism, that people buying properties here, people coming here for tourism, whatever the case may be, is raising prices.
So listen, the way I see it is that the tourists just come, they spend the money, and they benefit actually a lot of locals because they go to Comuna 13, they buy ice cream there, they buy shirts, they buy many things. So actually the locals benefit, the locals are actually benefiting a lot from the tourism. Like normal travelers truly interested in getting to know the culture, and then they leave. That's perfect. But the ones that are living here, or the ones that come for sex tourism, that is the problem.
So what do you think?
The problem is.
I have a question going back to even just Americans coming and living here, Valentina, because the United States accepts more legal immigration than any country in the world. If you compare United States immigrant,
but it's different.
It's not different.
It is different.
Let me explain to you, because you want to say that it's different, but you're not from my country and you don't understand.
People
come to the United States, there's a limited job supply in the United States, just like there's a limited supply here. If an American is working in tech and the business says, we want to go ahead and lay off all the American workers here, and we're going to hire new workers on H-1B visas from India because we can pay them less, that affects American people. That's American people that no longer have a job and income, and those are jobs taken off the market. There are foreigners that come to the United States every day, both legally and illegally. Now,
it's different because USA was made by immigrants. USA don't even have a language, don't even have an official language. USA is a mix of many
but
cultures.
The majority of us speak English. And here's the thing:
the majority in Miami, most of them speak Spanish.
Y'all's countries were made off of immigrants as well. It's so interesting to me, like y'all try to act like same thing that happened in the United States happened in Latin America. In the United States, there was native peoples, and then European came and they brought their slaves. Later on, during the Industrial Revolution, after many things were already built, then we invited more immigrants into our country. The country was already made, though.
You can't compare USA to Colombia.
Here in Latin America, y'all had the indigenous people, then Spaniards came and they brought African slaves, right? And then y'all built y'all country. It's the exact same history. The only
difference, not the same, please.
The only difference between
Are you serious?
It is, y'all, what is the difference, y'all? Now, y'all tell me the difference. In the United States, there were indigenous people here. Then Europeans came and colonized way after the Spanish.
Do you see as many immigrants here as the US?
The history of Colombia is there were indigenous people here. Then the Spaniards came and colonized, and then they brought African slaves, and then they fought for independence just like we fought for independence. What is the difference is the history, y'all. What is the difference in the history? Can y'all explain to me the difference in the history? It's the exact same thing. Matter of fact, it happened here before it happened in the United States. It happened here before it happened in the United States. True. So later on, during our Industrial Revolution, we had 2 industrial revolutions. After the country was already like 100 years old, we invited mass migration into our country. And then we did it again in a second way, right? So the only difference between the United States and Colombia is that we have had mass immigration before y'all, but the country didn't start off like that.
So why are we
it
talking about
started
this
out
in
the exact way Colombia did, and as a matter of fact, we started later than y'all did. It's the exact same history, and I hate when y'all try to make it seem like it's not. The only difference is we decided to industrialize and innovate faster. So y'all trying to make it seem like it's a difference that there's no difference.
So we are undeveloped because of choice, basically. That's what you're saying. We chose to be undeveloped.
I didn't say that.
Latin America chose to be undeveloped, and USA chose to be more developed and industrialized.
That's
first,
not what I said. You're
organized.
hearing what you want to hear. The United States chose to industrialize. This is the choices we made. Now you can take it how you want to. You can take it how you want to take it. These are the choices that our leaders and our business of industry made. Latin America had a head start on the United States. Why? Because Latin America was colonized. In a lot of these cities in Latin America, before there was even an American settler that stepped foot in Jamestown, had already been 100 to 150 years old. Right. Latin America had slavery before the United States had.
Before we go any further in regards to that, let's give some dates to it. Let's give some dates to it. Shout out to the sister for the history lesson. And y'all know me. I gotta come with the receipts. Slavery began in Colombia, 1530s, after the Spaniards arrived. Absolutely correct. Slavery began in the United States, 1619, almost 90 years later, even more. So after slavery began in Virginia. So immediately after Spaniards got here, they just started enslaving everybody they could find. And right around that time period was 1530s. Slavery ended in Colombia with a formal abolition, 1851. So they started way before we did, and they ended before we did. But let's see how far ahead of us were they. Our slavery ended 1865. Just a few years, almost like 7 years ahead of us. So that's how long ahead of us they had slavery. But in a shorter window, they ended slavery. That means that they had slavery around a lot longer than we did. If you just put it by way of the amount of time slavery existed. So she's absolutely correct in regards to that. So all you trivia buffs, 1530s for Colombia when they first started slavery, right after the Spaniards got here, and they ended it in 1851. 1851 is when they abolished slavery in Colombia. Let's continue.
Talking about this is nonsense.
I'm telling the truth. It's not nonsense. It's the truth. Latin America had cities here before the United States was even a country. The United States, hold on, Latin America in general, not just Colombia, had African slavery here before America had slavery. So Latin America did a lot of the things that the United States did before the United States did it. And if you would like me to pull it up, I can pull it up and I can show y'all the years that all this happened. I'm going to tell it's the truth. You can't argue with facts. Latin America started developing.
I'm also saying facts.
The United States.
What is happening in Medellin is gentrification.
Okay, now
the tourists coming, living here are raising the prices for us. That's all what I have been saying, and it's also fact. The sex tourists are ruining Medellin. Fact. Tell me something that I have said that is not a fact. I am also saying fact.
Valentina, you what I'm trying to tell you is
you're just trying to justify everything.
No, I didn't justify anything. I didn't justify anything. I said, y'all, how many times have I said in this live that sex tourism is wrong, and I understand why Colombian people are upset about that. What I'm responding to you, Valentina, is that You're trying to make it seem like I don't understand what you're talking about. When I tried to draw a parallel and tell you, yes, I do, because we experienced that in the United States and Texas. You tried to make it seem like we couldn't possibly understand because I'm in America.
Not the same level, 100%.
What?
Before she goes any further and repeats herself, I want to give a shout out to my brother Will with this super chat. Will says this. He said, most people lack finances due to poor choices made. Just my opinion. Absolutely correct. I can concur with that. Zeta says this. He said, hola, fellas. He said, came in to a struggle stream, I see. Every once in a while, we have a moment with the Wi-Fi, but so far, so good. Let's continue on.
Not at the same level. A poor person in USA is not the same as a poor person in Latin America or in Colombia. That's also another fact.
Do you think that there are people in the United States that don't go without food, lights?
Of course, 100%, but it's not the same.
It is the same.
It's not the same amount. Like, listen.
Your stomach don't care. If you can't eat, you can't eat. Y'all don't see us as people.
But I'm talking about the lifestyle too. Or all the things that the people have to go through. It's not only like that they don't have food. It's many things. Like the poverty is many things that only not having food or a roof. And Colombia is the second most unequal country in Latin America. The first one is Brazil. Have you seen how many houses in the mountains there is? Here in Medellin, it's a lot more than the nice buildings that there is in Poblado. It's a lot more. Because most of the people are poor.
Let me ask you something, Valentina. I understand that. Did those conditions exist? Be honest. Did those conditions exist before Americans started coming here? Or were those people living better? Did people live in the mountains?
Living better, yes.
So people weren't living in poverty in the mountains before Americans came.
They did, but not at the point that they are. So let me tell you, someone that were living on a nice place before the tourism, now these people have to live on the mountains in the ghetto because they can no longer, like the medium class are disappearing. Now they are becoming poor. You know what I mean? Someone that was
I can understand
used
that.
to
Same thing
live in Laureles. Now they have to live in Popular Uno. And it's a fact because I know many people that are going through this situation.
I understand. In the United States, same thing happening too. You might not think it's the same, but in the United States, people who were middle class are now poor.
Okay. Are the same opportunities in USA that in Colombia? We don't have the same opportunities that
Valentina,
USA.
this is what I'm saying to you. I'll go back and say it again to make myself clear. In the United States, we do have more opportunities, but guess what? Wait, listen, because here's the thing. Y'all try to make it seem like it's one way. In the United States, our country and our businessmen give a lot of opportunities to foreigners. Opportunities that we really don't have to give to foreigners. Every time people mass migrate to the United States, you know who loses jobs? American citizens lose jobs because because you don't care about Americans. So you don't care about our pain. And when when Americans lose a job or go broke and can't pay their bills, you don't care. You don't see it as being the same.
Thanks, T-Mac. thanks, guys. Okay, as I was saying, I knew T-Mac was calling me for a reason. Okay, we're back. Okay, what I was saying is this. She's correct. Calculations. Y'all know me, receipts. In Colombia, with a 3% increase of homelessness reported in this country every year since 2021, Colombia has 34,000 reported homeless people in this country. 34,000. Texas alone, from 2021, with a 3% increase, has 30,000 homeless people. If don't nobody know or understand what it's like to be broke, Americans do. We have whole state worth of community, the size of a state in population, that live in cars in our country. This woman talking about living up in the hills, got you. She don't know nothing about no projects. She don't know nothing about no public housing. That's our version of living up in the hills. Just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt grow. She don't know nothing about good times being broke. She don't know nothing about us going through back alleys, having to collect bottles and cans to take them to the store for a refund, to buy a little something. She don't know nothing about no food stamps, no EBT cards. She don't know nothing about when we got to file for unemployment. She don't know nothing about that. She don't know nothing about that. She don't know nothing about that. She doesn't know how many homeless shelters are in the United States for women with children. She don't know nothing about that. How many ex-military veterans are walking the streets of the United States? She don't know nothing about that. All they know is what they show them on television and in the movies. Florida, New York, California. Whatever they saw in the movies about California, they think that's the whole country. Whatever they heard about Mookie in New York, they think that's the whole country. Whatever palm trees they saw in Florida, they really think that's our whole country. They don't know about how times can get tight in St. Louis and Kansas, Oklahoma, the Carolinas. They don't know that we had tight times. She don't know nothing about Flint, Michigan, with polluted and poisoned water. She don't know nothing about that. They don't think Americans get poisoned water. They don't know nothing about that. They don't think about the fact that our country ranks number 6 in the world for malpractice in surgeries, meaning that in our country, we're one of the highest countries in the world that they did a surgery and they left something in your body that they shouldn't have left, whether it was some cotton, a utensil, or a body part that they were supposed to take out, but they took out another one. She don't know nothing about that. She don't know nothing about half of our foods are made out of plastic now. And you can bend and fold a watermelon in the United States and it ain't gone. She don't know about that. I think one of the most profound things that Maria said this whole conversation that she was having, They don't see us as humans. We've sold through propaganda, and it's our fault to a certain extent, to other countries that America is the lap of luxury and the streets are made with gold, right? Paved with gold. We've sold that since the industrial age, right? Come on in, immigrants. The streets are paved with gold. We got a statue out there that says, bring your broke and you're poor and you're busted and disgusted. You come to America, make a life for yourself. We've sold that. They got family members that are in the United States living decent lives that it's been sold. So when we have dialect with them, all they know is California, New York, and Florida flowing through their minds. And me and Andrea talk about this all the time. We talk about this all the time. They don't see us as people that go through struggles, that stand in line praying to get this particular job. First time a Colombiana ever snapped on me. I was dating this chick that had a really nice job in Medellin. I said, what you doing this weekend? And she snapped. I mean, from out of nowhere. Everybody's not like you Americans. I have a job to do other than my other job. Oh, okay. She said that as if they invented, you got your regular job and you got a part-time job on the side. That's the American way. As if I was supposed to be they don't think that we have full-time and part-time jobs. They don't know that we got full-time and full-time jobs. All they know is when we come to their country, we got money to spend. And so they assume that everybody's a doctor, a lawyer, or Indian chief in the United States. So Maria's right. Based off the propaganda that we've put out there in our mainstream media and social media, and based off of when they call their family members back in the States and how much money they've got and how much they make, they really believe everybody is living the lap of luxury, the life of Riley, if you will, in the United States. And that is far, far from the truth. Far from the truth. Thank you guys for letting me know earlier my mic was muted. I was talking to Andrea for a split second. That's why I muted it. Let's go back to the video.
When their kids have to go hungry, you don't see it as being the same. Now, I'm pro-immigration in the United States, and I don't blame immigrants for coming and trying to make a better life.
I don't blame Venezuelans coming here either.
Because at the end of the day, those different men are making a choice.
Okay, do you finish?
The thing, y'all, people like you, Valentina, feel like the United States has infinite resources, which we don't. And that people should be able to come to our country, and the American citizen should have to deal with the consequences of that. But then y'all see it as so wrong when American people come to y'all country and buy properties and whatnot. I understand all too well the hardships that come with gentrification. I'm not saying that I don't, but what I'm telling you is it happens every single where, and the better solution would be to figure out.
But it's not the same when that happens. Listen to me. It's not. So you're talking about the immigrants. So it's not the same. Listen, immigrants for, let's say here in Colombia, will be the Venezuelans. They are the ones who don't have a powerful income like the Americans, and that they're kind of taking the people's jobs. But I have never been talking about them, and I am not against the immigrants. Another thing is the Americans coming here gentrifying our place. is two different things. So you're talking about the immigrants in USA, like if it's the same, the Americans coming here is not the same.
So you don't think people coming to the United States and Americans not being able to have those jobs is the exact
Listen,
same
if someone, please, in USA there is more opportunities than in Colombia. So if someone without papers,
there are more
without the language, is
but
taking
there are
your
not
jobs, then
infinite
it's your problem.
Valentina, do you know how many people in the United States don't have a job right now that are getting laid off? We're going through a recession too. Do you know? Yes, there are more opportunities. There are not infinite opportunities, meaning that if you oversaturate the market with enough people, there's not a job for everybody.
Okay, I am not going to argue about that. What I mean with that is that I'm not complaining about the Venezuelans. I am not complaining about the immigrants. I am complaining about the gentrification. I am not even complaining about the tourists, because again, the tourists are great. They come here, they enjoy the city, they actually benefit a lot of people, and they leave. That's it. That's good. But the gentrification is what I'm complaining about. And the sex tourism. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what I'm complaining about. That's what I'm speaking about.
And I understand. But my whole point that I'm making with you, Valentina, that I made before is you only have smoke. It's like you're talking out of two sides. You're saying you like the tourism and all that and the money that it brings, but then you're saying you don't like the gentrification.
Yes.
You criticize the Americans that come here and raise the prices, but then when I ask you, well, why don't, like for the same thing that I asked you with El Capo situation, I asked, why don't you blame, why aren't you equally talking about the club that employed him so that he could promote that? You said,
because
I don't want to talk about
mafia right there.
You said I don't want to talk about it because
do you think that's the local
finish. I heard what you said. You said I don't want to talk about it because it's a mafia. So you're choosing the easier target in the situation because the culpability is on both sides. But you're choosing to target El Capo and you don't want to speak on the mafia part because you fear for your life. And I don't know. That's alleged. I'm not saying there's a mafia that owns that. I don't know. But my point is,
even a Colombian one.
Pick the easier targets. When I say, hey, why don't you criticize the Colombians who are selling these properties to the Americans at a much higher value
because
than market?
It's supply and demand.
You don't want to criticize the Colombians who are doing it. You
because
say it's supply and demand. Hold on, wait. You excuse the supplier part, but you want to criticize the demand part. So you don't want to criticize. You only want to criticize.
I am not criticizing the demand part. I'm just saying that they're very unconscious.
Okay, so guess what? They're unconscious, but the people who are doing it are not unconscious.
Listen, I think that's why I have been doing the videos saying what I have been saying, because honestly, many foreigners don't even know and understand this. And I am talking about my clients because I always say this on my tours, the situation. And I just want to educate the people for them to understand the locals' point of view. I just want to speak up. I am not against, I am not trying to fight. I know that I'm very privileged myself. I am not trying to fight. I'm just trying to educate the people, and I'm just trying that the foreigners understand the locals' positions. Because every time I see American doing videos that they are in Medellin, in the comments, is a lot of locals commenting, gringos go home. So I want to educate the people for them to understand the situation, because many of them, they don't even understand, they don't even know. And when I explain, they understand and they became more conscious about it. That's it.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think in hindsight, because I want to come to a civil understanding here. Do you think that there is a better way? Because what you just said to me right now and how you explained it to me was much less hostile than how you're explaining it in the videos. Do you think that you could have said what you said in those videos better? Do you think you could have said it like it?
100%.
I think you could, because here's the thing. If you work in tourism and your clientele are Americans, people are going to be turned off when they see stuff like that. That's not good business, Valentina. I'm just being honest. If I never been to a Colombian,
are you talking about the last video that I post?
Yes,
the last one
where you posted a video and you said
saying that we don't need tourism in Medellin.
Yes. So you just saying that to you, that's not bad. To an American that hears that, a customer that hears that, that sounds like, oh, she don't want my money, or she feels like she don't need my money. That's what that sounds. Do you understand how that can come on?
So about that, first of all, sure, I probably could have done a better video, explaining it better, avoiding a misunderstanding. But honestly, I just did that video to try to, because I'm trying to get away. Like, I'm trying the passport bros or the sex tourists not to contact me. I'm trying to piss them off or whatever it is, for them to stay away from me, basically.
You can, and I get that. I get that. You could have said it like that.
Hold on. So, on that video, if you see the comments, many people, I feel that someone is smart enough will understand what I'm saying. And the people are like supporting me on those in that video. Not everyone. I feel the passport bros are not supporting, obviously, but many people and travelers are supporting me on that video because they understand what I really meant. But yeah, sure, I could have done it better. I could have explained it better.
Yeah, I think you could have too, because it's not just, I saw some of the comments Colombians were putting on under there saying not just sex tourists, saying that they don't want tourism at all in Colombia. And of course, you're always going to have Americans. Here's the thing about some of the Americans that were commenting. Yeah, Colombia was way better. And it's in 2017, before all the tourists started coming, the Americans, they look stupid saying that too, because at the end of the day, you're still a tourist. So you're contributed. What the problem with a lot of people is they think they're exempt from the situation. They think the rules don't apply to them. When they're a tourist, a tourist just every bit as any other American is a tourist. And I'm not blaming you for them saying that. I'm saying they look dumb saying that. And again, it just doesn't come out. I feel like if you were going to make
many local people. So most of the people, I have said this many times on my videos, but most of the people live in the north of the city and the tourists are in the south. So many people haven't even seen the tourists or getting with them at all. Most of the local people. So
now hear what she's saying. Don't let it slide by. She says most of the local people live in the north. Most of the tourists are in the south, which means or begs to differ that she's complaining for people that don't even live. Okay. That would be like me complaining about Disney. You know, I lived in Orlando, the Disney World area, Kissimmee. But Kissimmee is a small portion of Orlando, the city. So for me to complain about gentrification going on, and actually it is gentrification going on over there. It's kind of funny. But gentrification going over there in Kissimmee, Disney World is more expensive. The stores over there are more expensive. The apartments over there, because they're building up over there. People are living around Disney now, right? But I live in West Haven. I live about 25 minutes away from Disney. But I'm going to talk about gentrification of Kissimmee because it just so happens to be a part of Orlando. No, that doesn't make any sense. Because that's how she's putting it. Most people live in the north. They don't even, because she said they don't even come in contact. Basically, she said they don't even come in contact with tourists. So why are you crying about it as if they do? Why are you crying as if they do? And a lot of times we in other countries, shout out to MAGA, Because MAGA showed us this. Birds of a feather will flock together. A lot of times you'll say something, people won't even do the homework. It's just humans won't even do the homework on it. They'll just says MAGA and repeat what everybody else said, right? No homework, no studying. We see it in our own country. No homework, no studying, just repeating, just like parrots mocking each other, correct? So we see it all the time. A lot of the people that live in Medellin have no contact with foreigners, but they're just repeating what they've heard about gentrification. And most of us don't live or frolic in the neighborhoods in which most people in Medellin live. We don't. Now, if the people in El Poblado have something to say, okay, those people that have money in that location, because El Poblado has always been an expensive location before tourists in Medellin. That's just how it's been. When I got down here, it was expensive compared to the rest of Colombia. It's just one of the most expensive cities in all. El Poblado, that area is one of the most expensive areas in South America when I was here in 2016. So long before the true tourism came, El Poblado was expensive compared to other neighborhoods, right? So if the people in El Poblado complain, gentrification is coming, it's just getting so extra expensive, I could understand them. If you live in El Poblado. But if you got your ass in Bayo, and Bayo just turned around over like the last 5-6 years. Bayo was hood. Even the locals was like, I ain't going no damn Bayo. It just turned around over the last few years. Now, if you out there in old school Bayo and you complain about gentrification, come on, Bayo. Ain't nobody going out there like that back in the day. That's the part that gets me about this complaint. Most of the people are complaining about an area that tourists or people that already had money in Medellin were living in those areas. That's Strata 5, that's Strata 6 area. It's not people like her that was in El Poblado and that she got ran out because the prices got so expensive. No, the people that could afford El Poblado in 2016, guess what? They still can afford El Poblado in 2026. Ain't no broke people over there. Wasn't no broke people when I was over there. Wasn't no broke people living. I'm not talking about Parque Yeris and y'all partying. I'm talking about regular everyday Colombianas that live in Zone 5 or Strata 6, in other words, had money to live in that area, because even before the tourists came, it was expensive to live in El Poblado compared to many locations or neighborhoods on the continent. That's how expensive El Poblado was compared to other, not in Rio, not in Argentina, not in Ecuador, not in Venezuela. No, El Poblado was in the top 3 most expensive neighborhoods in all of South America when I was here. When I just put my foot down, and a lot of you guys that came in 2011 and 2010, I did my homework. It was expensive then. So it wasn't no broke people in El Poblado. So even if tourists hadn't came, inflation would have still come to El Poblado. And guess what? Those who could afford to buy property and buy food in El Poblado before, in 2011, 2010, before the tourists came, still got money in 2026. Them people didn't go broke. Them people still live in the ask them old ladies. They still live in the El Poblado. They still going to church in El Poblado on Sunday when they close down the streets. They still walk down the street in the El Poblado. They know their neighbors. Them people ain't moved nowhere. Why? Because they already had money. That's why they were able to live in El Poblado prior to tourists. It's the people that ain't got no money that's crying about gentrification in neighborhoods that we don't even go to. That's probably the craziest part about for me about this gentrification rally that they claim like the masses. It ain't the masses talking about gentrification. It's a small pool of people in Medellin, just like it's a small pool in every city that complain about gentrification. And it's usually people that ain't got no money to live in that neighborhood, even if we wasn't there. Let's say we never came to El Poblado. Could most of the people, could that young lady that's talking buy an apartment in El Poblado? No. Even if we weren't here, she couldn't afford it, could she? What about her mama? No. What about her granddad and the uncles? No. No, they couldn't. What about all the people she talking about in the hills? Could they afford El Poblado? If we hadn't been here, El Poblado was already expensive. Could anybody in them hills that's complaining about gentrification, could they? No, they couldn't. So no matter what, El Poblado was going to be expensive and out of the reach of most paisas anyway. And before we go back to the video, you know who ain't complaining about gentrification? The corporations and the government. The corporations in the government ain't listening to a word the locals are saying. If they want to be pissed at somebody, they need to be talking to their own corporations, the investors, and their own government. But to be perturbed with us, consumers like they are, you're mad because you can't afford to consume this and I can? Don't be mad at me. Like the sister said, you are just being angry with the low-hanging fruit, with the easy target. It's easy to be mad at us because you know your complaints go on deaf ears to your government and to the corporations. They ain't trying to hear what you're saying. They're gonna build that. They're gonna build that store. They're gonna build that mall. They're gonna build those condos. They ain't trying to hear. These corporations are not trying to hear what we gotta say in the States, and they are not trying to hear what they say in this country at all. They are not. Them people can pick it all. Gentrifying. That building is gonna go. That high rise is gonna go up, and all those apartments are gonna be sold. They are not listening to these people. They got plans. They're building the world's largest statue of Christ for tourists. They ain't listening to these people. They are building a pseudo beach on the outskirts of Medellin. Well, actually, near the airport, the second airport inside the city. They ain't hearing none of what these people talking about. They setting it up. In other words, the government here is saying, if you think that you got a lot of tourists in Medellin now, in the words of Jack Nicholson, wait till they get a load of me. Wait till you see how many people come after they build that beach, after they build that new statue of Christ. You think you got tourists now? Man, listen, when Medellin say, wait till you get a load of me. Medellin is telling them, shed your tears now, baby, because you know what? Y'all can go march with your picket signs, go on YouTube and complain to the expats, do whatever you're going to do. Because you guess what? The corporations going to keep coming. The investors are going to keep coming. And the mayors and the governors are still going to keep getting that money from tourism. And I ain't mad at them because I experienced it in Orlando. And just like my sister said, I ain't cuss about it. I ain't fuss about it. I knew it was progressiveness, and it was helping my city in the long run. It helped Orlando be the Orlando that many of us were able to enjoy because we got the Epcot Center and we've got the Disney World over here, and then we've got all these other. Most people don't know, if you don't live in Orlando, bruh, there's about 40 theme parks. See, y'all think about Universal Studios, then y'all think about SeaWorld, and then y'all think about Disney, Epcot Center. No, bruh. It's 40 major, humongous theme parks in Orlando. Them people ain't care nothing about us crying about no gentrification. They kept on building. And the same thing the government and the investors are going to do in Medellin. Shout out to T-Mac. T-Mac says this before we head back to the conversation. Valentina is selfish. He said, I provide income for 4 people because I'm a business owner in Colombia. She's only worried about her and not the people employed by foreigners. And this is absolutely true. She don't speak for the majority. She only speaking for the few people that she heard gossiping. Absolutely correct. That's all she's speaking for. A few people. And I like what my brother said. Shout out to Slim. Slim said this. He said that gringo money dry up, or they will be back living in those mountains. Let's continue on, gentlemen. Let's continue on. Yeah, business does not care. And we as Americans, we're used to it. But corporations don't care. We kind of like, okay, it is what it is. And we keep it pushing. He said, just went to the Epcot and Universal Studios this December. Shout out to you, brother. I know you had a nice time. He said, Dre, one of the biggest one-side circular arguments that I have with some of the women in my family was over gentrification in Florida. Miami, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, and West Palm Beach area. I said, stop it. I know, right? It is what it is. Gotta go, but I'll shoot you an email. Shout out to you, sister. Have a great evening. I look forward to your email. I'll make sure you get my WhatsApp information and we'll converse and we'll schedule a day really, really soon to get you on the channel and just hear your story and some of the things that you experience while you're in Medellin, Colombia. We really, really appreciate you for all that you're doing on your side. Oh, yeah. Shout out to you again. Let's continue on, gentlemen.
They just have the image that they show on the news or in social media, which is coming here for sex tourism. So most of the locals think that most of the tourists come for sex tourism and they are done. And I understand that because I know that not most of them come here for that. I know that that's not the reality, but it's because I work on tourism and none of my clients are like that. But I understand the local,
I just think you could have messaged it better, Valentina, because like before you came on this live, I was talking about the situation. Those of y'all who have been in the chat this whole live, I was talking about how I understand before you even came on here, before you even explained the situation.
I know, someone sent that to me.
I was talking about how we have to understand that Colombia is not used to this mass migration that we've already been used to in the United States for over 100 years now. Not since the beginning. We weren't built as a country. We started the same way y'all did, but we've been accepting immigration longer than in the United States since the railroad, mass migration since the railroads. So I was making my point. You know, it's the
okay. I don't want to argue about. Continue.
It's the same, baby. So I was explaining that Colombian people, we've been used to it a little bit longer than y'all, and to y'all, because the life here is slower, it's a shock. So we have to understand that. Me as a person who also experienced gentrification, I did, whether you think it's the same or not, I did. Me as a person who also experienced gentrification from the American South, understand what it's like for my rent to go from $500 a month to $1,500 a month to $2,000 a month. I get it. I 1000% get it. And I understand why it can be frustrating and people can speak out of emotion. My thing for you, Valentina, as a business owner whose clientele is American, my thing to you is I feel like you could have been just like you are now at the end of this conversation. You could have been far more balanced and you could have been careful with your words. And I'll give you some grace in that. And not saying that your English is bad. I'm not trying to insult you. Your English sounds fine to me. We've had this conversation, but I feel like you could have chosen your words carefully. And if your post was about sex tourism, you should have just kept it about sex tourism, right? Or you could try to be more fair-sided and balanced towards American citizens, because it's not all our fault, because other Colombian people have a role to play in it too. Not the people who aren't making money off of it, but the people who are making money off of it have a role to play. And I feel like if you're not willing to contend with those two sides, then it's best to just keep it positive, or it's best to just say, hey, I'm just going to focus on speaking up against the sex tourism. But even with that, I feel like you can't criticize both sides. You should, like with the El Capo situation. Again, he was working. And
also, I want to say something about that. It's crazy that he's trying to make the people to think that I am a prostitute. That's crazy.
Well, somebody said that in my comments earlier before you came on.
Because Chil Capo is spreading that idea. That's
I don't agree
crazy.
with that. Somebody put that in my comments before you came on. I don't know if you were watching. They said that you are a prostitute. And I said, I don't know that. I've never heard that. And I don't want to spread rumors because I've never heard that about her.
She is spreading that rumor, and that's crazy.
I don't think that's right.
I have trying to, with the videos that I have been doing, like the controversial videos, I have been trying to, again, stay away the sex tourists or the passport bros. And now Chil Capo with this type of rumors are going to attract them to me again. And I don't want that. That's crazy.
I don't agree with that. And I think that's wrong. I think you shouldn't accuse somebody in being engaged in a line of work that they're not engaged in. I think it's disgusting. I've dealt with harassment as a woman, so I understand it. Yeah. Absolutely, 1000%. And now listening to what you're saying, I can understand why you're directing that anger toward him. So I don't agree with that. Somebody tried to say that in my comments. I told them I don't agree with that. I'm not spreading those rumors. I don't know that. So.
Yeah, and now a comment right now is saying that I attacked Roberto for doing tours. I have never say names. I have never say Chil Capo. I have never say Roberto. I have never do a video speaking about someone in a specific. I have never. It's crazy. Like the people, I'm kind of done with that controversy. And as you said, yeah, I'm just going back to do the normal videos that I was doing, like about tourism, like about showing my city and speaking about my normally. But I'm done about speaking about the things because they don't understand. Like the people don't understand what I'm trying to say.
I understand. Okay, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
I honestly don't. So I definitely could have done the video with better words, but I honestly don't regret it because, again, I do believe that that Medellin was better without the tourism. That's a fact. Lleras Park was better without the tourism. You can search videos, actually. In YouTube, you can search Lleras Park in 2012. It was amazing.
Are you talking about before? Let me be clear. Let me clarify, chat. Let's let her clarify. Do you mean Lleras Park was better before sex tourism or tourism in general?
Sex tourism.
Okay, go ahead.
For example, Provenza, I feel that is more tourists, not sex tourists. So Provenza is great. I feel that if Lleras Park was like that, like only tourists, not sex tourists, Lleras Park will be great how it was. like mixing the luxurious places, nightlife that it was with the foreigners would have been great. But unfortunately, the sector is ruining it. So yeah, Medellin was better without sex tourists and without the gentrification. But I think everywhere was better without the gentrification. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, you have spoken your piece. I think we have gotten to a better understanding.
Yeah. And well, honestly, thank you for this.
Music. Go ahead.
Thank you for giving me this space to say my side of the story, and I hope that people understand now better what I meant. And yeah, let's see how it goes, because the controversy doesn't stop.
Yeah. I mean, if I were you, honestly, Valentina, I would probably make another video re-explaining my position, because I'm going to be honest. A lot of people are saying you don't like Americans. So if I were you, just from a business owner perspective, I have my own business as well. I don't make my money in Colombia.
All right, and that's the end of the video right there, as she had it posted. Shout out to the ladies, both ladies, that basically kept a civil conversation. You know, a lot of times you see people get into really demonstrative arguments and disagreements, and nothing can be discussed without flare of emotions. We see men do it and women do it, but shout out to both ladies for keeping it somewhat civil. Even though they may not agree with each other in many areas, they did keep it civil. They kept it respectful. So shout out to them in regards to that. And when it comes to gentrification, nobody's going to be comfortable with it. It just is what it is. It's one of those it is what it is type of situations. Somebody's going to always feel like they got the short end of the stick. Life is not fair. I wish it was not the way that it was. We always look back at the past with nostalgia also. Many of us look back at the 90s. Hey, man, that was the time. Early 2000s. So it is with a lot of Colombians. They look back at when it was fun to go to El Poblado or Parque Diaz and enjoy themselves. Either way, they realize those days are over. It's not going to be the same park, and it may never be again. But at the end of the day, I believe that it's going to be a better park. Once they get it all cleaned up with all the Pookies and Ray Ray behavior, I think it's going to be a better park than it's ever been before. If they didn't believe in it, they wouldn't have done the renovations in the park a few years ago. I'll say this again. If the city did not believe in Parque Lleras, they would not have done those renovations that they did, making the park look extremely better than ever before. There's a reason behind that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to Philip Michael Thomas. All you Philip Michael Thomas fans, Miami Vice. I was watching Miami Vice the other day. Shout out to Miami Vice. And shout out to Jay Clyde in the building. Yes, sir. And my brother Nazarene and Jay Scott. They say Parque Lleras was better in the early 2000s. I can agree with that. He said, I lived here. He said, I lived there near there for years. And it has changed for the bad. And that's why I said, once they get rid of the bad elements, I believe that it is going to go back to being a great park. Because when I came here, man, it was man, I kid you not, it was a spot where couples could go and friends could go on a Friday night, man. Saturday night. The energy was there. You did not have that pay for play strolling down the street like that. I ain't gonna even lie to you, brothers. Every time I see a video of Parque Lleras after the pandemic, it ain't nothing but pay for play just strolling everywhere, bro. It was not like that before. So I could imagine how it was in 2020. I mean, in the early 2000s. I could imagine. So, and couples going down there and just enjoying themselves. And I hope it gets back to that. I hope that it gets back to the point where tourists can go back and enjoy themselves. Expat can enjoy Parque Lleras, as well as the locals can enjoy Parque Lleras without having to feel the pressure of certain elements in the air. Certain elements in the air. So salute to everybody that's here. Salute to all you guys that are here. Tomorrow, we're going to have our brother, Chil Chapo. See what he has to say. And we got a couple more interviews scheduled that's coming down the turnpike. But at the end of the day, things are going to get better in Colombia one way or another. And that's what their goal is. They're not going to give up on building these projects for tourists just because a few locals don't agree with them. And that's how it is. That's how it is. Make Colombia great again, better again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get ready to do an outro. Shout out to all you guys that are here. Let's do some outro videos real quick. I'll be seeing you guys mañana, tomorrow night. Let's go. We can go with the belly dancer first.
Sabemos lo que quieres, yeah, pero es un secreto, dile a tus amiguitas que esperen. Que pena empezamos aquí, quiero tenerte, sentirte sin ropa verte, baby, yeah, yeah. Tómatelo pero sin testigos, que entre menos gente sepas mejor. Solo dile que somos amigos, pero no que yo te hago el favor. Tómatelo pero sin testigos, que entre menos gente sepas mejor. Solo dile que somos amigos, si nos dañamos el parche no va peor. Como cae
fallado, pero como más veces. Un amor sin contrato como nos apetece. Y tus amigas pendientes de detalles, pero en esta laguna no caben tantos peces. Ella lo sabe, solo me quiere. Vaya solita, a nadie más. Solo la cama sabe todo lo que pasa debajo de la sábana. Yeah, yeah. 24/7 está ready, pa' que los dos rompamos la dieta. Tú desnuda si te ves bien deli, como chantilly y un par de fresas. Vamos a hacerlo pero sin testigo, que entre menos gente sepa es mejor. Solo dile que somos amigos, pero no que yo te hago el favor. Vamos a hacerlo pero sin testigo, que entre menos gente sepa es mejor. Solo dile que somos amigos, si nos dañamos el parche no va peor, yeah. Nada rencores ni mala actitud, así dijimos cuando hablábamos de tú a tú, yeah. Dijimos que solo era para eso, pusimos reglas en nuestro menú. Yo no te pido que me des toda la vida, solo un minuto mamacita tenerte. Me pone loco cuando estás de vestida, y creo que lo haces pa' que yo te recuerde, yeah. 24/7 está ready, pa' que los dos rompamos la dieta.